Hello and welcome back once again to PUBG Online, the day we have all been waiting for, the final day of split number 1. It is, of course, 12:30 Central Time. We're starting a half hour early today to help out our buddies over at Cursed Trials, help them get some lobbies in. So we're starting a little early, but we have 4 games today. We have 15 EU teams all fighting to get into top 16, to get into the cash prizes for our top 3. There's a lot going on. I'm joined by Porosaurus and Mr. Cameron Davis. And first of all, I'm gonna start with Cameron. How was PGL? Welcome home.
It was fine. Thank you very much for starting with me.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Poro, how about
Poro, obviously?
How about you? How was it?
It was great. It was great. It was a surprising finish for sure. But
Yeah,
I was very, very happy.
Yeah, a lot
It really was
of a lot of excitement with PGL. Nice event to watch. It was it was a good weekend for PUBG, and I'm glad you're both home and alive safely. So welcome back. Now today there's a lot going on in PUBG Online. So let's just break this down very, very quickly. All right, EU dominated by Liquid so far. The way the prizing works out in split number 1 is first place gets 3,000, second place 1,500, third place 500. On top of that, the top 16 will enter Showdown Series in split number 2 to compete for $20,000. Now, here's the situation. Liquid, they're in first place. The only team that can possibly catch them today is Havu Gaming. They're the last hope for EU to topple the beasts in Liquid. What does Havu Gaming need to do? They need 4 wins in 4 games and 95 kills. So, yeah.
I believe.
It's just, I mean, if you guys have ever rooted for somebody before, root for Havu, because this could be the greatest day of all time if they get 4 wins and 95 kills, because that has never happened. No team
Watch
has
them
ever
go
won 4
out.
games.
The very first team to go out.
Yeah,
in the
just
first
because
game.
we brought
Just
it up.
ruin
Yeah.
all this.
So, on top of that, we have a lot of teams fighting for those top 16. We talked about it a little bit. 3 teams not playing today. They played yesterday. Wind and Rain, Spet Gaming, and Exalt. They're just in the top 16. Their biggest fear, they're sitting there, they're watching, and they have to worry about these teams coming up and grabbing their spots from them. So I'm going to ask you both. I'm going to list 4 teams here. I'm going to ask you both one at a time which team you think jumps in, gets in the top 16, and secures a spot. Your options are Great People Only, Moonwolf, House of Nobles, and Knights. Knights, the lowest ranked of these 4 teams. They're in 23rd right now, so they have to jump 7 other teams to get in. Which team does it for you, Porosaurus?
You know, Knights is sitting in 23rd, but they're sitting with 716 points.
Right.
16th currently is 877 points. So
It's realistic.
They need roughly 150 points, and if there's a team that can do it, I believe Knights can.
Okay, absolutely.
Well, it's not hard for them to get 150 points either with this point
Right.
system.
Yeah.
Because what is it, 100 for a win?
It is
Like, it's-
100 for a win.
So as long as you don't have a bad day, and no, I agree. I think Knights are definitely the ones to look at, not only because they have the largest to climb, they probably have the most to lose because as of the names that you listed, and as they're probably the ones that have like the most like not notoriety. I can't think the word.
They're really
or
friggin'
expected.
good.
Yeah, they're really good, and they're actually
good at the
expected to be
game.
in Showdown. So the fact that they're 23rd is a little odd. But I also think that they can do it. They're known for going off and having really good games. They're also known for having bad games, but I really don't think it's realistic to expect them to have such a bad day that they can't even get those 150 points.
Okay,
It's a
so
tough lobby for them, though.
it is definitely a hard lobby. Now we have Vitality
I
here
mean-
today. We have FaZe. We have Havu. We have Anime Boys. They haven't been performing great, but they are a really good team. Knights, G2, Alliance. I mean, we have quality teams in here, and it's so strange we're talking about who's going to get in and who's not. Knights is at 716 points. I consider them the bottom of the teams capable of getting in. They're at 716. If you go up to right now, let's say team number 13, which is FaZe Clan, that's only 160 points away. So
I mean, but FaZe aren't going to stay.
well, yeah. FaZe and Vitality,
Let's
they
be
will
realistic
get
here.
points. But like that's the fear is if you're Spet Gaming, if you're Wind and Rain, if you're Exalt's at 962. It's very realistic that Exalt gets pushed out of this. They're in 11th right now, and it's very possible that all these teams climb up, and every time they climb, Exalt falls 1, 1, 1. They could be sitting right at that 16, 17 at the end of today. So it's intense, and I'm worried, and I'm nervous.
I feel like 800 and I'd almost say 900 points is like the goal.
Right.
Like if you can get to 900 points after your just from your performance today,
Yeah.
you should probably be okay. But I mean, a lot of these teams that we're talking about, yeah, probably that's the thing.
It's really hard to tell, and none of us are math whizzes, so.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
I'm actually a savant at math. No, I'm just kidding. The
Rain
other
Man.
team that we have, they're right next to Knights, is Moonwolf. Moonwolf, obviously, we have Snack, Washout, O'Connell, Edukaz.
Yeah.
They're a team that I think can definitely push this one. They're a team that I think can get in. The problem is we have so many teams that can get in, there's not going to be enough spots. It's just there's just not enough teams there. Vitality and FaZe, they're going to climb, and the higher they climb, they're going to push teams with more points down further and further, and it's going to just become more and more difficult to get in. A few of the ones that are likely losing their spot, Wind and Rain, 877. I mean, they're in 16 right now. Right behind them, Great People Only by 8 points they're playing today. So Great People Only literally has to not get last. Oh, we're cutting the game right now. Apparently we're in game right now. Cameron Poro, thank you very much. But let's hop into game number 1 right now with Dudge and Jorasar.
Thank you very much, lads. We are right into the game. We're getting right into the action. The shoots have already been pulled, and everybody is just getting themselves right onto a wrangle. Once again, my name is Daniel Dijsano, and joining me on the mic for tonight is going to be John Jorasar, Sergeant. Now, what are you really expecting to see here? Are we expecting any massive upsets coming through from these teams trying to get into that top 16?
Oh, good evening, and what a result this is going to end up being for some of these teams. Massive upsets, no, but I'm expecting a lot of volatility between 13 and 16. I agree with the desk in the sense that I feel like Knights have the ability to pull through here, and I'd like to see how well they do outside of these particular games. But away from them, upsets, no. If Wind and Rain lose out on a top 16 spot, given they're currently on the cusp and anything can happen, I'm not going to be too surprised by that. Things I would be surprised by is if FaZe in 13th place somehow drops out, for example, and a couple of things like that. But already we have game number 1 throwing us a little bit of a curveball in the form of the first circle.
That is quite the curveball as well, and we're taking a look down to the southeast. Plenty of water going to be inside that circle, plus pretty much 3/4 of Sosnovka Island going to be on there as well, so we could be going to either side, depending on how much this circle would like to debate us through as well. Taking a look at some of the other teams that we have inside this Havu was the name on my tongue at that moment there. So we have Tixu from Havu Gaming. Now these guys, very strong in second place. Incredible performances coming through from them so far. The 95 kill dream, I think we need a ticker for that. It's going to be next to impossible to do, but if these guys pull it out, my goodness, what a night that would be.
Yeah, I'm going to go with there's a reasonably good chance they don't get 4 wins and 95 kills. I'd be very happy to lay on that bet if anyone feels like taking me up in the chat or on the rest of the production desk. Things looking relatively quiet at the moment. No particular hotspots and early casualties going on in this lobby so far. And we have a reasonable number of hashtag player unknowns actually in this game as well. So that's going to make our casting extremely fun a bit later on once these teams start getting into each other's crosshairs.
Exactly, and taking a look across the board as well, we were on the map screen just there. We've seen that 2 of our bigger teams, Vitality and, of course, FaZe Clan, taking their standard positions across Milta, and some of our other teams who are very well known for getting the standard routes and the standard positions on the map, getting pretty much what they want early on with quite a nice plane path going through. We're taking a look at Great People Only at the second, team number 3. As 1 weapon skin already equipped, these guys are just going to be going all the way through the compounds, checking all the houses, seeing what they can find, as our looting phase is still very much in action. But these guys will need to move soon. That is, as you mentioned earlier, a curveball of a circle.
Exactly right. And this kind of circle, it's interesting because there's probably about a 60% chance that it finishes on the main island as opposed to Sosnovska Island, which is fine. But those odds are quite close to 50-50. So these people are going to have to be thinking very quickly and very carefully about what compounds they want to be taking and how to leave their options open. The gatekeeper house near the north end of the bridge outside of Milta, always a good option, but people are going to have to drive in. And they're going to have to drive in very quickly indeed to avoid being one of those last teams that get absolutely peppered by everyone in the circle.
decimated. Going to be very difficult for some teams to make their approach. Now, if we could quickly bring up the map once again, we can take a look and see that angles of approach into this circle aren't necessarily as bad as we're making it out to be here. Still plenty of land for the teams to approach through, but the density to the north side of the current Erangel situation is going to be making many of these teams come in through the north side of the circle, going into potential gatekeepers. That can heat things up very early on here.
It could indeed. These the potential gatekeepers are, well, I think G2 might actually have a chance of sneaking in there, but otherwise we're looking really at Team 12. You can see Alex, Calvin Klein, and co. Keeping position. I love that Tauzera, by the way, is on the opposite side, looking for ways that we can get a little bit of crossfire should someone actually end up halfway across. Really, really liking this. So this is the kind of position that I think is favorite of teams that want to keep their options open.
Exactly, keeping the options open, but also keeping themselves covered from multiple different angles. As you mentioned, G2 making sure that they have everything available. They will be making their moves through, just scouting out these positions and trying to find the best possible place that they can go. Of course, this bridge area is going to be fairly contested, considering we could be seeing the circle move over to the south side of Sosnovka Island. Fantasy already taking a few shots down over onto team making plays. Team 12 over in the distance, but the AK at a distance like that, with just the holographic, no real surprise he wasn't really able to land too much there.
A lot of teams now converging on the top area here above the bridge. You can see making plays, getting in position to defend themselves. It looks like, is that Great People Only? No, it's not. It's Shapeshift Gaming moving around the gas station, and Alex Calvin both having potential views of these guys in this compound. But they're not the only two teams. There are 3 or 4 more teams in a very, very close radius.
You mentioned it earlier, this a very contested area, keeping the options open. Such a short stretch of water between this island and the Sosnovka Island, then making it even more worthwhile for these teams. Sweater already going to be trying to take some shots down, but not able to land too much. But everybody just moving over, trying to find this new position, trying to find a cut of land that's the nicest part of the stake. So we'll see what these guys are able to do.
You've got me thinking about steak now. I'm not really sure what else.
Sorry.
Juicy, by the way. You know, he's not technically full health, but yeah, I'm still thinking about the delicious flat iron I had for lunch. More on that in a little bit, though, because we actually have a bit of action coming down now. We can see Shapeshift Gaming finally deciding to take a couple of shots, but making plays is in a reasonable position. They're actually abandoning that bridge area, possibly because they saw a lot of people coming in from the west, and they're going to be going to these yellow houses up here by the coast. It can get a little bit dicey because there's not much verticality at play, and it tends to just be a straight shootout if you get 2 or 3 teams trying to occupy them. But for now, they are the only people here.
Exactly. Getting compounds early on, making sure that you have that safety from multiple different angles, always going to be in your favor. Of course, until somebody breaches you, so we'll see how that one does go. We are still in the very early stages of this game, and we're only just getting our first crate through. The Groza coming in with the AR suppressor, the military vest, plenty of ammunition, and the adrenaline syringe. If any of these teams are able to pick that up, we've got the laser rifle in the game, and they will be using it.
Exactly right. And it looks like Team 1 are going to be the lucky dogs who will be able to take the crate for themselves. They're surrounding, just double-checking that no one is around, but I cannot imagine they're going to leave it much longer before they go ahead and grab that. 2 people, at least, with direct line of sight to that crate. 1 car coming on in, and that's exactly why they don't pick it up straight away. They're looking out for people who might be trying to steal it from under their noses, and ninjas in pajamas get 2 people down very early on.
That is unfortunate, to say the least. We're already going to be seeing Borg and Hollywood taken out of the game to very early casualties, and that will be hurting the chances of ninjas in pajamas going forward into the game. Taking a look down towards Ferry Pier, we do have 2 teams converging on a very close area to one another. To confirm, this is G2 versus Harvu Gaming. That's Team 14 versus Team 8 respectively here. And Silenzo getting a little antsy, trying to move out of the compound. He could be spotted by Wacko here, who we can see with our own vision that he is peeking, he is looking, he is trying to find that tilt. He's trying to find the shots. Nothing just landing at the second. And just as I say it, there's a big tag going down onto Encelenso's head. Poke battle really heating up now. As on the minimap, we're already seeing the rest of Team 14 surround Team 8.
Great news here, as Habu will be able to pick up 4 of their 95 necessary kills. We can see Encelenso moving up onto Fantasy, although the plan doesn't appear to quite be following the script at the moment as he goes down. Waka now moving in and pinstering the rest of the team. Tixu getting taken down as well. That was a really nice attack coming in from multiple angles from G2, allowing both of those team members to go down. We now have I Don't Really Mind and Yorski just kind of chilling out by the ferry pier itself. Unfortunately, they're going to be down to 2 people here, which makes it, from my calculations, 47.5 kills each.
Havu definitely playing this game on hard mode. They are looking for this first place victory. So as you mentioned, still 95 kills left to go between 2 players. We'll have to see whether Havu are able to get their first place finish off the back of I Don't Really Mind and Jorski. But of course, we are seeing further knockouts coming through as the Knights are starting to light up the map. They are trying to take shots down onto Vitality, and they will be able to do just that, as Shiv taken directly out of this game by himself.
That's slightly awkward. Is that would that be him abandoning the boat too early?
I think so, yes.
I think so, yeah. So Shiv, unfortunately, not wearing his armbands on his trip to the beach. And ladies and gentlemen, let this be a lesson to you. Make sure all your safety equipment is comfortably in place. Knights, in the meantime, the team that all of us are touting and therefore cast a cursing to high heaven and back, have a compound all to themselves on a coast. They're going to very, very patiently wait and see what the circle is next going to be doing to them. They're in 23rd place at the moment, so quite a lot of work for them to do, but they also have the skill to be able to do it. I think the desk mentioned these guys are capable of straight up winning games, but they really have to work on the consistency. They've got really good games, but they can't follow them up with really bad ones if they want to reach that top 16 today.
Well, they're already starting this off as Survivor is going to be taking shots down onto FaZe. Fuzzface also coming in from the backside, trying to back up the rest of his team. The Knights repositioning, finding themselves a different position. The circle has changed for them, so we'll have to see if they respond to this instantly or try to opt into the fight, which FaZe are not going to present to them. We're going to have to talk about that circle in just a second, but just to elaborate on your point, the Knights, when they broke into the scene very early on, these guys definitely have the veterancy and the potential to go far here.
Prediction, Knights are going to go right-hand side. They're going to go right bridge and around, and they're going to eat the blue.
Well, Voxic is definitely...
I wanted to get that in there
it.
before he started, but hopefully that's what's going to happen here. We're going to see a lot of swimmers here. It is way, way too big of a risk for these pro gamers to be basically driving straight across the bridge. There are too many people in plain sight, too many people potentially on either side of the bridge. No one is going to be risking it. Expect a mass exodus, rather, in vehicles towards the water, and we're going to have to see a little bit of a swim fest.
Well, that's going to be Snack taken down first here, but Calvin Klein will not be able to finish this one just yet. The rest of his team, however, will attempt to do so. Team 12 making plays, pushing onto Moonwolf, not letting them breach into their own property just yet. The grenade is going to be going down, just landing a little too short, however. Very good try from these 2 squads as both lining up one-on-one. Calvin Klein, the next to be taken down. Moonwolf, Educause does get the trade back here. So that is going to be a 3 versus 3 to start this off. Fraser looking for it, not able to find anything. He's now on the back foot. He is too close to 3 players from Team 4 Moonwolf. We'll have to see if he's able to get back to ZP Alex just on those rocks, but he is going to have to go through multiple people here.
And that Educause flank wasn't actually spotted, and as a direct result, making plays will be losing someone. This does neither squad any good right now. They have to focus on finding a way to get to the water. The problem is they've started engaging, and Moonwolf are no longer free, of course, to take their vehicle. So this is going to be a very, very ginger way of both teams stepping towards the coast.
No Sea Admirals just yet. Sigsy is looking for blood. He's aiming it down onto Helu now. He's already been able to get Corin Pasca down onto the floor. So Team 3, great people only, sustaining casualties. And Helu, he's just getting the hell out of there.
he might. Oh, be careful! Don't accidentally beach that. There we go. Managing to get there in the end. I think he's going to get out an attempt to see if he can get a revive down, but it's tricky. You fall into the water there, for example, and that is a no-go kind of zone. Hellu's going to have to move on the left-hand side and come back up across the rocks to get that revive off. If he's able to do that, insta-first aid, and never mind, that's what we were trying to avoid. So now he might hang around to loot his teammate, actually, if he had some meds. Maybe
Would be
not.
a good idea. It's a difficult ask at this moment in time, and obviously Corin Pasca not intending to slip off those rocks there, but he just didn't perhaps see quite what was near him. Team 11, Team 6, very close to one another. They're going to be forming a school of... Is it a school of dolphins? What's a group of dolphins called?
Ooh, I think it might be school, but don't quote me on that. Something in the back of my mind suggests it might be something different. I'll get back to you on that one, but either way, we're going to be seeing a lot of swimmers this afternoon, that's for sure.
Well, with these guys getting very close to one another, they will be getting onto land later than the most. We'll have to see whether they are able to, survive for it. I'm just being told
the
it's a
guys in
pod.
Discord.
It's a
I was
pod of
about to say,
dolphins.
is it a pod? I was also thinking, it's not a herd, it's a pod. Yeah, I think you're right.
They are
Pod.
8 peas in a pod is another one we could say on this one. But G2 also on that ferry pier. They will be trying to play fishermen. And next crate coming in, the AUG. Bullpop rifles galore today as another level 3 military vest and the adrenaline syringe will be coming in.
Not sure Voxic actually spotted that, but Knights having a very successful rotation now round to the southern side of the circle. Teams 7 and 9, Alliance and Shapeshift Gaming, in a very big firefight at the moment in adjacent compounds. And Arizona can't quite get himself into the compound to get into cover. As a result, getting a teammate behind that tree there is going to be extremely difficult for him if Sigsy continues to have him pinned down.
Alliance having a fantastic position here, able to cover themselves from multiple different angles. They have all of this greenery on top of the hill as well as a compound to work with. If they're able to finish these shots down onto Morizy, well, they're going to finish off Arizona straight away. So that's a good start into this one. One more kill claimed for the pockets of Alliance here. Will Team 9 sustain any further casualties? We'll have to see later as the Knights taking shots down onto Alliance as well.
The real question now is, what do great people only do? They've successfully gotten to the coast, but they have so many people swimming and have the ability to come onto land as well. On the other side, they have Alliance, who already are in the compound and are in a fantastic position. So great people only are going to act as gatekeepers, but the moment they start shooting, Alliance is going to be alerted to their presence. What on earth do you do if you're them right now?
Well, there's a few things we could say, some of which we probably shouldn't say on broadcast, but we'll have to see just where the next of this is going to. The rest of G2 jumping off the ferry pier into the water. They're going to take the swim over as we have been baited and switched into the Sosnovka Island. Harvu having their own position. They also have one player down currently. I don't really mind throwing that initial smoke out. We will have to see whether he is able to recover his teammate anytime soon.
Now, to be fair, he has got an M4, which means he can technically get all 95 kills on his own. It just might take a while.
But Voxic has an AWM. That's in the rock, paper, scissors, that's pretty much like bringing a nuke into the equation.
Exactly. That is the shotgun card, unfortunately. Although, now that I think about it, maybe shotgun is the incorrect word to use when it comes to this game. Certainly an AWM trumps a lot of stuff. Knights are actually in a great position, by the way, but I do want to talk about the only team that can spoil their party. FaZe Clan are on the west side of them right now, moving up north from military base. Let's see where they choose to rotate to.
FaZe early on their rotation will be securing them an initial compound. Securing the real estate, that will be a great start into this. They do have the Knights very close to them, which is one team to really look out for. The Knights have been playing out of their minds so far, already getting a few downs just from a distance. We'll have to see if they're able to pull it out in the close quarters combat. However, aside from this, we don't really see too many people on this side of the circle currently, just the Knights and FaZe.
Knights only have to worry if there's more than one team at once pushing up onto this hill. If they start engaging with FaZe and someone chooses to come in the other end, Havu, for example, could be a little bit of a problem. But otherwise, having the high ground advantage, having plenty of foliage to hide behind is useful for them. We actually, interestingly, are those bridge campers. Someone is on top of the bridge right now, and I think it's Moonwolf who are having a peek at teams 12 and 13 underneath. That's making plays and Ninjas in Pajamas, respectively.
We did get to see earlier on Ninjas in Pajamas losing a couple of members to an unfortunate car accident. And Moonwolf here not losing too much at the second, so they have plenty available if they are able to get these peaks down. Of course, playing through the water, very difficult position, limits your options very realistically.
Why can't my games be like this when I decide it's a good idea to bridge camp with my squad? That's my number one complaint here. This looks pretty darn chill, if you ask me. In other developments, by the way, we can see Great People Only have made their way up the cliffs, although a very, very circuitous route there to avoid themselves getting seen by Alliance. And as a result, we have G2 now making themselves on the rocks as well. Now, this means that both of these guys, as long as they stay out of the window of Alliance, should actually do really well. But there's one catch, the circle. And before we get into that, we can see that FaZe are actually moving up the hill where Knights are right now. So the showdown that we were expecting is about to start.
And here we go to push up the hill after the initial knockout going down onto Draydon. We have an unknown on screen at the second, but he's got an AK in hand, looking over at the survivors, pushing over the top of this hill. That's the play zone taking one person, but that is going to be a scar to take Draydon out of the equation. Gunshots flying through the air. Mixi able to take one of the Knights down, so only two remaining.
Kramer going down as well, and all of a sudden, all eyes are on Voxix. Player unknown is just doing phenomenal work, but that's because there's more than one of him in this game, as far as we are concerned, and he is going to bail out. He needs those positions to get Knights into those top 16 today, and he cannot afford to be fighting like this with FaZe can. FaZe, excellent push up the hill there, that initial knock and the subsequent push, allowing them to get away with all four members still alive.
Exactly. Well played, Brendan Green, able to come into this game
He's
on
there, yeah.
absolute
He's
fire.
teleported.
He's everywhere. I mean, when you're... He's just such a god at this moment in time, but he's now playing for Team 5, Team 1, and he's going to be going up against Havu Gaming next. Jorski, and I don't really mind, still inside that compound, and it looks like GPO have a good idea that there is a team inside here.
It's almost like they knew in advance. Very nice little frag there, managing to get Jorski to start things off really quickly. Oh, Jesus! Larry, calm yourself! And that is fragging out, finishing off Havu Gaming. Those 95 kills, unfortunately, are going to have to come in subsequent games.
And we'll have to see whether they are able to wipe servers upon servers to get themselves up the leaderboard. But I think we're going to have to call it quits to that storyline for now, at least for Game 1, as we do have 12 teams still remaining within the game. 35 players left alive as our circle is pushing these players closer and closer together. Contraction has started, and most players already finding themselves a position within this next zone.
Voxic spent so long running away, and now he's going to be moving straight on back to FaZe. This is not the world's biggest amount of cover. He is all alone on a massive open hill, and I have a feeling that FaZe are going to get sight of him and finish this off soon. Elsewhere, we finally have the Dolphins attempting to beach themselves, but so far, Moonwolf are comfortably gatekeeping.
Moonwolf fishing with bullets, nades, smokes, and everything they can find. They will be finding teams like Vitality, teams like the Anime Boys, and we're even going to be seeing Making Plays inside there. Making Plays limited on how they are able to live up to their name. On your screen, still Alliance with their compound overlooking GPO on top of the hill. So Metal taking a few shots into the compound to his northeast. Also keeping an eye on the waters just to see if we are going to be getting any sharks coming out of that water.
G2 versus Great People Only is a very awkward fight right now, to say the least. Hello and Kajuti do not have an angle from which to peek. And if they try and target G2 here, unfortunately, they get into the line of sight of Alliance. So as a result, this ends up being a little bit of a stalemate for now. Wacko also going further down, just risks himself being shot by about 12 different locations. So Alliance at the moment are absolutely in pole position here to take this game. There is only one compound in this next circle, and Alliance, who got there early and definitely get the credit for staking out the real estate, are doing tremendously right now.
Johnny Bones trying to do a little bit more fishing himself as he's prone on the sand. He's got cover. He's going to be fighting them on the beaches, but he's not going to make too much of a speech. He'll shoot first. Our swimmers, of course, will be going to the southwest, developing those gills as they go in that direction, but not too much water left within the zone. And no matter where these guys land themselves, they will be in the line of fire. Very difficult task for all of these players now.
Moonwolf now starting to think about moving. You can see Educause there repositioning the UAZ, and more importantly, deciding to live outside of the compound and be just a little bit more mobile. Voxix, well, I guess the crate provides cover, but that is not the most inconspicuous place you can possibly be in the world. Yes, we have the, is that a double crate weapon by the looks of things? No, it is an M4 he's holding. But what on earth are you going to be able to do with all of these? He has to run away. Possibly in a vehicle, but realistically, the moment he moves, he's going to get shot.
I mean, if he did have himself a ghillie suit, he could be pretending to photosynthesize in that field, but we're not going to be seeing that coming out of him just yet. Voxic in the middle of so many players here. Two of those teams will, of course, be Alliance Team number 7 and Team number 4's Moonwolf. But on the outside of this at the second, we are seeing FaZe getting one member downing themselves. Very difficult to start this off, as they will have to stop, lose their momentum, pick the player up, and not doing too well with vehicles as many teams today.
They were very close, actually, to engaging with Team 5, so we could have had a FaZe versus 1, which would have pit some of the player unknowns against each other, which would have been a very interesting fight to cast indeed. Looks like that's actually going to happen anyway, though. FaZe, unfortunately, getting that initial knock, but everyone is back up, and it's going to be a three-way fight as well, because I have a feeling Alliance are going to get involved.
And here it is. There's one player already going down. Vitality losing members too. Nades coming out from Larry as he's just trying to secure cover, push anything he can, find any advantage he can make himself. But so close to Team 7, Team Alliance, and they will be returning fire very quickly. FaZe also pincering from the other side as Fuzzface is able to take him out of the fight.
FaZe are in a dip at the moment, and unfortunately, Team 1 only have their own vehicles as cover. There is no natural dip in the landscape that will allow them to escape these guys right now. It is purely tree trunks, and as a result, they find themselves in an impossible situation. FaZe Clan looking like this is going to be the second squad they take out of this game.
FaZe already amounting themselves 3 kills, and it could be more as 31 players still inside this game. There's another secured as Mixie able to take that one down. One nade going down straight onto Niels and Mikaz, and this could be it for both. Niels first to be taken down, and that is the second as Mixie. Beautiful work with the grenades.
Nailing the Kobe there from FaZe Clan. If you see a smoke, chuck a frag in it. Seems to be the correct way to be playing this. Voxic still somehow alive, but he's getting shot at from every single direction. There's a vehicle in a crate and one person next to it, and there is nowhere he can go. He's getting very close to squeezing himself into the top 10, but Knights need a result significantly better than top 10 here if they want to guarantee themselves one of those top 16 overall spaces.
Just cutting in here, Alliance. They didn't need to move out of their compound, but they did. It's also netting them casualties as 2 players initially going down. One of our hashtag unknowns is going to be moving over to the other side, but only 2 players from Team Alliance currently alive as FaZe Clan are trying to gatekeep on the outside. They're getting the angle. They have unknown versus unknown. They're going to be cutting each other off.
Yeah.
Difficult task going forward as another unknown going to be driving into the circle and providing cover for the rest of FaZe, whilst also playing scout down onto Alliance. Metal does have a window, but VZ still bleeding out, and there's one nade coming straight into this. This could be it for VZ. Just narrowly getting that kill there. Beautiful workers. I had to change sentence quite quickly there.
Very nicely done. FaZe continuing to push through now. Only 6 teams left alive, by the way. Knights have gone down, Vitality have gone down, and the circle really is starting to constrict itself. People that are still in the water at the moment, I think that is Moonwolf on the very edge, and they might actually be in a decent position. They can take advantage of FaZe going up against Alliance here to try and sneak in on the beach as quickly as they can. It looks like that's exactly what they're going to do as this plays out.
G2 using the gunfire from all of these teams, finding themselves a position up in the northwest of the next circle as the constriction once again starting to come through. Team 10 versus Team 7. That is going to be FaZe Clan versus Alliance. This is going to be the org inside this fight as the peaks already coming down. Unknown facing down onto Unknown. He hears footsteps on the outside. Will Fuzzface breach this? Not opening the door in the traditional way. He's looking to do this with bullets just as he's looking to pound Unknown's face here.
Alliance, tricky situation. All they can do is sit and wait right now. The good news is the frags seem to have stopped coming for now. The bad news is they are going to have to deal with FaZe Clan sooner or later. They are still within the next circle, but one team wants to be able to camp out that compound, and as a result, the push has to happen from FaZe Clan right now. And all the while, we have Team 14, Team 14 and possibly Team 4. Yeah, that's G2 pushing up towards them, but Fantasy goes down straight away. I think he still has 1 or 2 teammates on the edge there. There is Steven looking to try and get a word in as well.
Fuzzface able to get a beautiful peek in, but Alliance do trade one out. That will be a recovery picked up from the FaZe Clan as Unknown is able to play medical duties to Unknown. Very good when you have more than 2 hands coming into these fights. G2, on the other hand, will be trying to come in through the west side. They know exactly that they have 2 teams down to their south in that compound, and they are looking to vulture here as Steven trying to take a few shots, not able to land them just yet.
Wouldn't have been seen exactly where those shots are being taken from as well, because those silent shots make it ever so slightly difficult. I suspect FaZe Clan will know that it's coming from that rock now, but that means that they have plenty of room to work with. There's a lot of open space between that rock and their compound. They can focus on dealing with Alliance. There's a complication, though, because we have Meteor up here, and we also have Wacko outside.
Meteor facing down against 2, able to take the first one, but 2 unknowns are going to be facing him down, and that will be Meteor taken out of this fight entirely as we are now down to 3 teams left alive. FaZe Clan, G2, and Moonwolf with a 4 stack still available, still ready, sneaking into the top 3, and they're going to be sneaking into our kill feed straight away as Steven taken down by O'Connor. Excellent work to get this started.
Moonwolf currently in 22nd place. This is a very, very important result for them. G2 Steven going down to a headshot. If Moonwolf can secure at least 2nd, this is going to be fantastic. But at the moment, FaZe Clan really are asserting their dominance over this game. Fuzzface gets absolutely completely taken out by Wacko there. Just brutal. And that is now a 3v1 situation. He could get a 3rd. Here comes Mixie as well. He does get it. Wacko might actually be able to single-handedly take out the whole of FaZe Clan. That's 3 people. We have the unknown player still left in the windows looking for Wacko, who is on low health. This is a wild goose chase. Cue the Benny Hill music. Wacko could end up being the hero here.
Wacko with heroic plays to start this one off. FaZe Clan, 1 player upstairs, 1 unknown into this fight. Still 3 teams left alive, but they are both facing down against Moonwolf. Moonwolf with the 4 stack ready to go, aiming down the sights, and they know exactly where everyone is now.
G2 Wacko handing Moonwolf a huge advantage here, and suddenly FaZe Clan are reduced to Brendan Green himself, taking on 5 other players in this game. Don't forget, this is only game 1 of 4. We still have 3 teams left alive here in the PUBG Online Showdown Series. This is the final week of our first split.
Shots coming in from Moonwolf. They have the northeast side. With 4 members, they can make this unified push and see if they are able to take more players out of the fight. 1 kill equals 1 extra placement for these guys now. Washout leading the charge behind the trees, now inside zone. Gunfight ready to start off. Wacko able to return some fire, but now he has to reposition as his position is compromised.
Jumps behind the broken wall, so everyone knows where he is from the side of Moonwolf, and that's fine as far as FaZe are concerned. Very happy for everyone to just rush Wacko as much as possible. Wacko really should actually go around the side and see if he can get into the house, because a lot of frags are raining down on his position right now. The wall is definitely helping him, but he needs to get out of there.
Smoked Off is going to be covering exactly just how he's feeling inside those trousers at the moment, facing down against all of these. FaZe Clan still have a comfortable position inside the barn. Up top, 2 players from Moonwolf providing overlook behind the hills. O'Connell first to be taken down, as Wacko is going to be doing this again. Educos also taken out of the game by our unknown player.
Wacko, what on earth are you doing here? He is absolute god moding it right now. It's still a 1v1v3. O'Connell looks like he might not actually survive. No one really is going to be able to get him out. If Unknown jumps out at this point, this is going to be mad.
This is 1 versus 1 versus 1. Wacko has been able to hold it off alongside our unknown FaZe player, just raining down fire on the outside overlookers. The overlookers taken out initially, and it looks like FaZe will start to jump out of the window. Here it is next, straight into Wacko, but he's taken out. The jump shot coming down.
FaZe Clan could still do this. It is now a 1v1 washout versus Unknown. Here we go, peeking around the corner. Almost edge of to start things off, very close. Now 1 tick away from death. Unknown moving away from the wall, but he doesn't get it. Washout goes down, and FaZe Clan, after that amazing performance from Wacko to take out 3 people, somehow come back to take the victory there. 9 kills on Unknown number 1.
What a set of plays leading up to that. FaZe Clan able to take the upstairs position inside the barn, take players of Moonwolf who were providing overlook out. Just 2 quick flicks was all it took. 2 flicks, 2 left clicks, and that was it. Then suddenly take Steven out of the game and you're in that 1 versus 1 position, and FaZe Clan taking game 1 in such an impressive fashion. I don't even know what we've just seen here.
Oh, there are so many ways you can dissect and analyze what happened in the last couple of minutes of that game. MVP for me still has to be Wacko from G2, single-handedly taking out 3 members of FaZe Clan and looking like he might be able to survive through to the end as well, handing Moonwolf an awesome advantage, and then it all flips on us once again. So much to go through in that game. I'm sure the desk will have a lot to talk about before we start game number 2. Gentlemen, over to you.
Thank you very much, guys. G2 and FaZe, a solo from each team, creating a new duo. G2 Wacko and FaZe Unknown, taking on the 4-man of Moonwolf.
All right,
I mean,
please. Who's your money on? Was it Yempty or Hexetti?
It's got to be.
It's got to be Yempty. It's got to be Yempty. He's the best player in the world. And you know,
it could be Hexetti, but like
I'm saying it's Hexetti.
It could be Hexetti.
I'm going for you, Hexetti. I believe.
Really could be both. It really could be both. Like everyone on FaZe is known to go off like that. It's just the fact that Yempty is has a 2% chance more of going off. It really could be either player. We all know the FaZe roster is stacked. So.
How about Wacko, man? I mean, how does? All right, G2 15 kills.
Talk about that
FaZe
sure.
16 kills. Between those 2 teams, they killed more than half the lobby. Just straight up, they killed 31 players. They killed more than half the lobby. That is nuts. That is insane.
Okay,
that's less than half.
Let's.
30,
I'm gonna put
15 teams of 4, 60, 31.
Oh, 15.
Oh.
Can I
Sorry,
I'm gonna jump in before Cammy does, and I'll be the jerk on this one. G2, great kills. I feel like a majority of those were mermaids.
Yeah.
They held the coastline, and they happen to be the ones that get on. I mean, they held it for a while though. I mean, they were the ones that were playing gatekeeper, so a lot of those kills that they were managed to pick up were picked up on mermaids. But I mean, it still needed to be done, and that's still good that they were able to get those kills. FaZe, obviously really impressive that they won 16 kill win. Wacko should never have gotten to kill 3 of those guys. That was such a weird.
It was
double
Hexetti.
peek. It was such a weird double peek.
It was Hexetti. We're wrong.
Like, okay, watch this, right? We have the replay. The kill on FaZe, that's understandable. This right here, what is this? What is this double peek? Look at.
Why?
Like, why? That's just such a weird mistake. coming out of those guys that you don't really see very often, and it almost ended up costing them the game. Fortunately, it was Hexetti. We have
It was Hexetti. We do have confirmation in chat from Jempty and Mixie that it was Hexetti in the final. He was phase unknown.
I believe
and like
you, Hexetti.
To be fair, yeah, sure. GG shouldn't have gotten that lineup onto phase. But then Hexetti getting that drop down shot, he also shouldn't have gotten that. So it went both
pretty
ways.
Disgusting.
They went
was
both ways.
Pretty disgusting. I mean, Moonwolf had fantastic position
And they
this whole game.
We need to talk about Moonwolf. We need to talk about Moonwolf. All right, so FaZe is kind of making a play here, pushing up. They could potentially push into the money. They could push into the top 3. They're never going to catch Liquid. They're just too far. But there is a chance that they get into the top 3 and they get into the money. So a huge first win for them. Keep an eye on FaZe looking forward. The leaderboards will be posted in the chat. I think they pop every 10 minutes, so if you guys look for the link, you'll be able to keep up with all the teams. Moonwolf came in today at 22nd. Okay?
Yeah.
Second place in game number 1. Their dream of getting top 16 is extremely realistic right now. It is very, very, like, it's almost something that as long as they don't mess up here, they can definitely get into top 16, definitely get into Showdown. So Moonwolf, they are team number 4. Well, if you're looking on the screen, we might have unknowns. It's a big pain. They all have Moonwolf in their name. If there's no unknown, keep an eye on Moonwolf. They're team number 4. They made a huge play in that game. They played it very well. They did a great job. And that second place could be what brings them into Showdown in the future. So very well done out of them. A couple other teams that we need to talk about. Knights, man, 10th. They're 23rd coming in this game, and they ran into FaZe early, which was it was tough.
That was a really weird kind of. I'm surprised that Knights let FaZe get up behind them. They must have just had no idea that FaZe was down there to their sitting just below the hill to their east, because you could see they were holding that high ground. They had a lot of vision around them. But they were kind of spread out, and then FaZe, I guess, when they decided to move, and credit to FaZe, they got the down. As soon as they got the down, that's when they all ran up the hill, and somehow, Knights weren't able to. I don't know if the attention was split or whatever happened, but somehow FaZe was able to was allowed to run up the hill.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even a res, but just like sending someone over there to protect their down teammate, and to potentially get back up to a 4-stack. But then because of that player got isolated and taken out. Knights did get one drop initially off the bat, but was just the fact that it got traded. It was a 2 after the first down. It then became a 2 for 1. Yeah, and then just FaZe team rolled. We saw who was it?
FaZe
it was Voxic, and
unreal.
I think we need to give Voxic huge props. He got so unlucky. Knights is not 10th place in this game if there's no water. They're not 10th place. He would have brought them up to top 5, and it sucks because you were in that position where you're sitting there. You're like they were talking about he's almost top 10, and it was like. He should be top 5 right now. It is a small circle, but there's so many players in the water, and he happened to die 20 seconds before everybody came out and got killed by G2, and it was just one of those things where I think Voxic played it so well. He got in such a good position where he made the right plays for a top 5, and he kind of got screwed out of it based on the water. So I feel really bad for Knights there, and I think Voxic does deserve a little praise because he hopped on a bike and just went dead center, and he got the vehicle, he used the airdrop and found great cover. But once he was pushed on by Moonwolf, the whole squad just came at him, wasn't able to hold it off. So I think that's unfortunate for Knights. Knights, once again, a team very similar to Moonwolf. Moonwolf obviously got second place when Knights got 10th, but Knights can make this, and keep an eye on them. They're team number 15. So it's very important. That's a team to watch out for. Hopefully we don't get any more unknown bugs.
Yeah.
That was, It wasn't that bad. We only had 5. In the other lobby, we're actually running.
Yeah, at least it wasn't a full squad either. So
yeah.
The team they were on.
We're running the promotionals right now in a different lobby, and there was like 30. So thank God that didn't happen here. And I probably just jinxed it because now it's going to. So
Probably.
I'm sorry in advance. I'm sorry.
Bruin.
But hey, it does not get rid of the team numbers. Now remember that there used to be no team numbers. So once it happened, you're like, hey, we're restarting.
But the scoreboard.
Yeah, the scoreboard is all.
Well, it also didn't they used to have a thing where if you got the unknown mug, that also meant your teammates couldn't see you as a teammate. And
no, that's the other.
That was just a weird thing with break one time.
Yeah, there was it was one bug where like if you crash and then you rejoin the game, you AFK drop and you come back, and then for some reason it doesn't show you as a teammate anymore to the rest of your team. So we had a lot of those issues. But hey, PUBG, there's a brand new update. Weapon skins, guys. Think of what's important here. Weapon skins. All right, let's, come on. We saw them in there. We see orange ones. They're sick, dude. Weapon skins are awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the Nip boys had the orange AK.
Yeah, sweater had the orange AK. I think it's a.
You've only bought that like right off the bat just because.
Dude, the first thing I'm doing is buying weapon skins.
He's the biggest AK fanboy.
Dude,
AK's
can you blame him? Can you blame him? Absolutely not.
I mean, kind of. It is the worst AR.
First of all, all right, guys, we're about to hop into game number 2. Once game number 4 is over at the end of today, hang around. We will list the full top 16, everybody's kills. We're going to show all the points, what teams are going into showdowns. Make sure you stick around at the end of game 4. We're about to hop into game number 2. 2 more games after that, so 3 more games for today. It's a lot of excitement. Poro, Cameron, right now, Moonwolf or Knights?
Knights.
Knights.
Stick with Knights.
Stick it. I mean, I thought their movement was
both.
great.
Can I answer both?
You can answer both.
Yeah, both.
If you think both of them are going to make it, you can answer both. I'm
both,
sure
yeah.
Exalt Gaming wouldn't be happy.
I still think Knights still have the skill to do so, and Moonwolf after that second place, they just, as you said, they just can't mess up. So I think it's gonna be both.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's hop into game number 2 right now with Jorisar and Dutch.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are back here for game number 2, and we're going to be blessed with another lovely flight path. Going to be going from 12 o'clock. Looks like it's going down towards 5 o'clock to start us off here as well. We will have to see what the circle is going to be coming through with next. But despite that, #UnknownClan were able to win game number 1. So let's hear your thoughts on that one, Jory.
Well, we've got a few more of them this time around, so it looks like the bug, unfortunately, is going to... Wow! Are we really going to get that many? We may well get a few. We'll see what happens once people land. I just want sympathy, by the way. I completely understand the bug where you crash and rejoin and you don't show up as a teammate. The number of games where that's happened, I think it's happened to me 4 or 5 times where one of my teammates shows up going, hang on a second, there's an enemy. No, that's not an enemy. I just downed my teammate, but they don't see ourselves as such. You can actually revive them as well, but it is so difficult to work out throughout the course of a game. As soon as they get helmet and armor and they look slightly different, you go, there's a guy, shoot him! And it's, not fun at all. So hopefully no one's actually suffering from that sort of bug. We still have a couple of unknowns in this game, but by my count, it's around 5 of them. It's not a crazy number. I think we can deal with it.
I've had that one before a couple of times, and it's frustrating, but it's some of those things that we are ironing out as time goes along. But taking a quick look at our teams currently, we have the Knights and FaZe. Once again, going to be going very close to one another around the prison area. Now, prison, not necessarily a drop we get to see much of, especially in these squad games at the professional level. Just not enough loot to distribute, and FaZe already breaking their own little scripts as, no, they're just going to move back over to Lipovka, but they will possibly run into Draydon. Lots of things that could elaborate as our first circle is going to drop.
So Knights quite enjoy that sort of split strategy as things currently... Ooh, FaZe, by the way, just flipped the bike. I totally caught that on the minimap there. As Unknown just suddenly took a bit of damage, and then we're out of their vehicle, now they're back on. But they either flipped a bike or got out a little bit too early as they found another vehicle down there. And they're going to be moving to Milta. Now, Knights traditionally, well, you can see they're quite split at the moment. FaZe will know that they're here or hereabouts. They're just going to have to bank that no one else has gone Milta Tower. And that will pay off for them on this occasion. So I foresee everything will be okay.
FaZe, of course, very well known for heading over towards the Milta area. Now, with this being the last day of competition, we could reasonably expect some teams to start trying to step on FaZe's or Vitality's territory. So far, not happening here up to Game 2. Of course, that could change in Games 3 or 4.
It makes sense, right? FaZe were 13th overall going into today. And we have Knights as one of the teams that are trying to break into the top 16. If you drop close to them and take them out early, that's one fewer team you have to worry about taking one of those top 16 spots. So FaZe could be dropping tactically here, trying to deliberately get an early kill on Knights.
Exactly, and, well, we could be seeing those early upsets come through. It can be an upset in one game, but not necessarily too much in the standings at the second. Alliance are dropping it down in Nova Rep Noya at the second, so they have plenty of distance to still travel. Meteor, of course, will be getting those crates, and the efficiency of looting this area, I feel it's always a very mixed bag, especially in these crates areas around Novo and Georgiapol. I'm not a big fan of the crate areas.
Crates used to be great. I used to love dropping crates. And something happened a couple of patches ago. Crates became hit and miss. And now I'm just afraid, Dutch. I don't want to touch it anymore. I feel like I can loot two full crates worth of loot, and I'd come out with like a pump action shotgun and a P92. Like sometimes it genuinely feels like that.
That's end game loot, dude. That's pure end game right
It
there.
is end
right?
game loot. You know, if end game is like a single 3-story building in the middle of the circle where someone's pushing up on you and all you need is a shotgun, then sure. And speaking of circles, this is pretty northwest as far as these Milter boys are concerned.
Exactly. We'll be giving Georgiapol over to Team 11 Anime Boys, where they have pretty much got the entirety of this area. Master, of course, will be heading over to those crates himself to see if they are going to be holding any nice bits of loot in there. Johnny Bones also alongside him. If we could just quickly take a quick little glance over at the map, we'll see where the rest of the Anime Boys are holding themselves up in southern Georgiapol as well. Of course, Team 9 closest to them, Shapeshift Gaming, having a very split strategy, as Team 5, Team 1, will be starting to make their own rotation around, but meeting some shots from one of our unknown players from Shapeshift.
Nice couple of shots, actually, getting a tag off onto who I believe was Team 1. It was Niels up there in what I think was a UAZ. So maybe hitting the UAZ a couple of times, because he looks like he's on full health at the moment. Not really sure what happened there, but he will get away safely across the bridge now. And Team 1, points per game, not the strongest, we have to admit, but they have been up there mixing it up with the top guys. They are reasonably far away, to be honest, from qualifying today. But they're, 200 points away from one of those top 16 slots. So if they come out of nowhere and win 2 games, for example, totally possible for them to make it. But their chances are broadly mathematical.
Exactly, and, well, still plenty of teams who still need to make their own rotation in. We're going to get our eyes on one of our first crates from the game, as taking a look inside here, that's going to be another AUG, the Extended Mag, Milli Vest, and a ghillie suit. So, with that in the game, we could be seeing some moving bushes, and we could also be seeing some surprise kills come through. Team 12 closest to us at the second, as only ZP Alex, he still has to breach this compound very carefully, just in case any nasty surprises are waiting inside.
Being nice and thorough, absolutely no problem at all. But obviously, the longer he spends here, the more likely a team completely unrelated comes into the crate sort of area from a further afield as well. Spotting a few people and warding them off, but really he has to be watching out for people that come in north. If he's able to make sure he can do that, then in the next 30 seconds or so, he'll be able to go for the crate.
For sure, and already we are going to be seeing the Anime Boys taking one of their first casualties here, as Team 3 GPO were able to get it down on the outside of Georgiapol. Johnny Bones will be trying to get that recovery in straight away, though. The God Hill will also be taken up by Shapeshift Gaming, so 3 teams in a very small area, confined with one another. And Johnny Bones, he's getting his loot on, so I'm going to guess not everything was fine over here, and we have just witnessed a murder.
Absolutely correct there. So the crates not being particularly friendly to some, but Johnny Bones will be able to pick up the pieces, and the game will continue. Ninja's Pajamas getting extremely close here, sneaking up on top of House of Nobles. And these guys occupying these yellow houses, yeah, he knows he has to be careful now. He has heard multiple sets of footsteps there, and suddenly we need backup, and we need it quickly. We're going to have some sort of, I don't really know. You're going to be distracting them while you run up behind them for a flank. That's all you can really do if you're X in this position.
Very difficult here. He does have the hill for cover, which will make Team 6, the House of Nobles, HON, their push onto him very difficult. He has a lot of information just from audio cues. Whether he is able to work with this, though, we will have to see. but it's very difficult for him to move out of a position like this. He cannot make noise here. He is definitely on the back foot in that 1 versus 3, the immediate 1 versus 3 scenario. The rest of Ninjas in Pajamas will need to make their own move.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do in this situation, right? You have your audio cues, but that's great. Knowing that you're at a 1v3, knowing that the rest of your team are meeting up somewhere that you aren't, he just has to patiently wait until they leave. So as long as no one rocks up from Gatka and he's forced to take shots at them, he should be okay, because House of Nobles, they're mainly looking north.
Exactly. Didn't look like the rest of the team would be making a move over as Ninjas in Pajamas. 2 of the squad members do have themselves a comfortable compound to work with. Harvu also implementing a very split strategy, as we're seeing I don't really mind in the middle of the field, as also other players making their rotations through. Of course, not the best of circles that we would expect to see, so there are extra considerations to take in mind here, especially when it comes to entrances. It's a small amount of water, but nothing too consequential at this moment in time.
That's right. The only people that might be considering swimming, realistically, are people who are North George, who might want to swim south, but there is nobody North George right now, so we tend to be okay there. FaZe Clan now rotating around the edge of the circle, trying to avoid Knights, who have been taking the occasional pot shot at them. No one's really gone down, and there hasn't been a massive fight, but these guys have been in each other's faces all day long. And Knights are looking once again for a couple of shots. They won't get them, in my opinion, because FaZe will actually go all the way around north, possibly close to Severity before looping back into the circle. And Knights are going to have to make their own way in. Their route's going to be far more direct, and they'll get shot at by more people.
It will be difficult for FaZe here. The plane did go up into this direction as well, so we have to consider that there may be extra gatekeepers up by the shooting range area. No gatekeepers at the second. We're hearing gunshots as Harvu already taking some fire from the northwest. Take a quick look at the map and we will see that Morizy and Arizona will be the team on his back. Shapeshift Gaming once again coming onto our radar. Very aggressive playstyle today. The Lions also running into Team 5 at Team 1 here.
They should be relatively comfortable with that. No downs, of course, on Mator as he went ahead and moved past in his dasher. But no biggie, they're going to sit comfy, and they will be getting a nice little compound a little bit further up from where Team 1 have stationed themselves. That's going to allow them nice vision should they choose to move up through the trees. It's quite likely that these 2 squads will not face off against each other very soon. And very patient here as we wait for the next circle. These guys have found enough compounds that they haven't had to storm and hunt each other around the map, because Gatka just has plenty of these sort of small compounds. However, I guarantee you, if this circle then moves north Georgia Paul, we are going to see an absolute clown fiesta on those bridges.
Oh, for sure, and we have been seeing some incredible battles so far already. Even though we're on game 2, we had to definitely calm down after game 1, and Moonwolf on your screens definitely choking a little during game 1. They had the 4-man squad, but they lost out to 2 solos in the end off the back of what could be considered a little bit of an unnecessary push into the circle, whilst leaving some players behind. They're going to be coming back with something to prove this game. You have to feel that.
Each game is different, but you have to take it with a pinch of salt as well. Yes, you might have something to prove, but if you rotate into a very good squad early on, you need a plan B, and you need it very quickly indeed. Moonwolf are making a tremendous case for them to be boosted into that top 16. FaZe extremely far out, and oh my god, can we please call out Coach Jaro for nailing the North Georgia Pole circle here. Watch these bridges become absolute death traps, and despite having so little water in the circle, we could see a couple of swimmers.
Exactly. Anime Boys and Team 9 are also making their move over as early as possible, trying to avoid exactly what you said with the bridge campers. Will be very difficult should you get caught on these positions, especially Crossroads, where we're focusing our cameras at the second. Also an incredibly strong position, but the Anime Boys opting to go for North George instead. These extra apartment buildings, definitely strong, but very difficult to move out of.
That's right. And you're going to get that with a lot of North Georgia Pole, as these compounds are great to sit in and fantastic if the circle actually closes in on you. Oh, hang on a second. Shapeshift Gaming at the moment are walking into Knights, but I think they will broadly be okay. By the way, 2 members of FaZe Clan are ahead of Knights and 2 members are behind them, so we are closely watching that dynamic between these 2 teams all the time. And Kramer gets a couple of shots aimed his way as well, but nothing will connect at this moment.
Difficult to work with here is Shapeshift Gaming trying to aim down onto the Knights, but the Scar not able to land these bullets just so far. I'm a Menace, not living true to his name as the Knights, Dradon and Kramer find themselves within a compound, able to return some shots as well, forcing the retreat coming in from Shapeshift Gaming. That pushes them away so hard there.
I believe that was Voxic that managed to push him away with the sniper there in the end, and Knights will be able to retain that compound. That's a better compound than a lot of North George. It's just significantly easier to get to a point where if you need to make a quick exit, the vehicles are within easy range, and you're also able to rotate in and out freely without worrying that someone in the compound next to you is ready to shoot you. So there's plenty of directions and plenty of line of sight for them to move, and that might be why we're seeing FaZe possibly go all the way up to near Zaki here.
Team 11, the anime boys, able to set their trap straight onto Shapeshift Gaming as 2 players already dropped out of the equation. Still more fighting coming through as 1 player inside a vehicle trying to make the retreat up to the north, whilst 1 player left out to dry on the west-hand side of these buildings. It's going to be another one of our hashtag unknowns as he's just having to chill out and try to keep himself safe. 1 player will be coming to back him up, and if they are able to secure this apartment block for themselves, this could be a small boon in their favor. But North George starting to light up now.
Urban finish, high risk, high reward here. And Havu with all 4 members alive, taking some shots at Great People Only, who actually came across the beach. So they were one of the ones that swept. And North George, at the end of the day, these urban buildings are smack bang in the middle of the circle. They're statistically quite likely to be part of North George in the final circle. And if we see an urban finish, these guys are going to look like geniuses. And of course, if we see it end in a field outside of Zaki, it is going to be a disaster because the one team that manages to gatekeep all of them will suddenly get 95 kills. I wonder if that's how they...
Of course, this is where the loot will really start to play in mind. We need that utility to breach these buildings. We need the players to back one another up, be prepared to trade themselves out. Vitality, as you mentioned, on the outside, the north side of North Georgia Pole, just in case any of these players do have to retreat out and find themselves a different area. But picking up on how we spoke about it earlier, these apartments, incredibly strong buildings to hold, very difficult to move out of in the later stages of these circles, especially when you're under pressure.
So teams that are still on the outskirts that haven't necessarily moved in, I believe G2 are just chilling around the edge of the circle. There we go. Moonwolf as well, taking a very versatile position, and G2 might actually come upon them if they're not careful. Ninjas in Pajamas opting to stay in South George just in case, but God knows what they're going to do if the next circle is particularly small, and there we go. Everyone in the compounds looks great right now, and FaZe will also be in a decent position. Not much is going to move here.
I'm loving FaZe's position currently. Pure clarity from that western side. Completely clear for themselves, as well as Knights caping themselves on the eastern side. They will have to gatekeep 1 squad if they should like to come through, but up to the west and to the sheer east as well, both of these teams will be able to gatekeep any of these teams who are trying to move out of the urban areas of Northern Georgia Pole. And Silenzo going to be clotheslined pretty instantly there, as making plays are able to make one of their first plays as they're now moving forward.
Yeah, the thinking behind that was peculiar, to say the least. FaZe, by the way, managed to sneak in the final hit on that. But just trying to get on a vehicle and seeing if there's anyone else in North George. What on earth are we thinking here? All the teams are going to be jam-packed into these buildings, so the chances of him actually running into someone were quite high there. And Silenzo, with the high-risk strategy, that is not going to pay off. The only guys FaZe have to watch out for are House of Nobles. They're busy dolphining to the shore here, and they could end up coming up behind FaZe Clan.
Nothing worse than you come up behind FaZe Clan and you just get them turn around straight on you and pretty much pop your head straight off. These guys are not ones to be taken lightly, so we'll have to see whether Team 6 the House of Nobles are able to make this push and make it successful, as they will be encroaching onto very dangerous territory, considering the players they're going up against.
FaZe getting a nice little position on top of that mini mountain there. And looking down on the rest of North George, Knights also have a really nice chunk of the circle to themselves as well. So shots are being exchanged right now, but I don't expect masses of deaths until we see a circle that forces a lot of the people in North George to exit their compounds. There is very little in the way of incentive to move out right now if you happen to be in a building. And if you needed any proof of that, take a look at where Ensalenso is.
Exactly. We are currently taking a look at the rest of the map, as the Knights were taking a small amount of fire, but they've got themselves a fairly solid position now, still keeping that field open for themselves. Voxic with the Kar 98 knows where these shots are coming from, and it's be a very difficult shot to land. Oh, he tagged him! Beautiful tag there from Voxic. That's going to do a lot of damage, but the Knights will not be able to follow up on that, especially at that distance.
Yeah, that wasn't really a we're trying to kill you in a fight sort of shot. That was more a you don't exactly have the freedom you think you do because we are watching what you're doing kind of shot. So you can see Voxic, by the way, instantly knowing how much higher to aim based on how far away that hill was. A lot of experience there. And you might go, well, yeah, it's easy to calculate. He flicked over and fired that shot in less than a second. So that was really nice stuff coming out from them and just really putting a word of warning FaZe Clan's way.
Exactly. Applying pressure, taking away a few resources. You know, it's very difficult for FaZe now. They have to bear in mind that there are teams over to their east should they want to move anywhere. That will limit the options that FaZe has and also keep the way clear for the Knights, creating space.
Really quickly, where's the next circle? I want your prediction now.
Oh,
let's go.
See that drop coming in straight in the middle?
Yep.
Fields, straight middle.
So do you think Knights will be in a good position? Because I want to say top right. And
I think
everyone's
that will come down between the Knights and FaZe. Knights will have the better position if that's the case.
Hey!
There it is on the Knights.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hire me to pick your lottery numbers for you, please give me a call after the broadcast. Not a problem at all. Knights are going to be enjoying this position, although there may well be 6 or 7 teams running out of these compounds. Now, the question is who gatekeeps them? And the answer to that is Team Vitality. I think they might want to go back to where Monkey and Unknown are as things currently stand and try and hold that particular compound or the hill directly behind it if they're not worried about getting shot. Everyone's going to have to run through these guys right now.
This will be difficult for Vitality to bear in mind because there are so many players that will be running in their direction. Whilst they have the definite positional advantage, it will be very difficult for them to hold all of them off. M249 being emphasized there. It's a shame that Lil Fuzzy Seal isn't around today because, well, he'd be having some great fun with that gun. What's your opinion on the M249?
I think it's an undervalued weapon. Not necessarily one that people would prefer, you know, over like a fully kitted AR or something like that, but just very nice to have the option for covering fire and being able to get those really nice, accurate sort of 5.56 shots from long range without worrying about being in a sustained gunfight and when to reload. Is it the godsend? No. Oh, wow, Moonwolf. Jesus. Hang on just a second. No one is going to have... Wow, 3 go down. I was about to say they might not have the angles that they need to take out the squad, but quite clearly they did.
I thought you were going to finish that sentence off with nobody is going to have a good time, which would have been even more accurate. So we'll just say that's what you were going to do this time around, as Harvu able to pick themselves up a couple of kills, but one member of Moonwolf still in play. 14 teams still alive, and many of those will be taken out when we get our next circle pop, I am sure. Washout is just seeing the rest of his team being completely washed out, so, well, we'll see if he's able to wash anyone else out.
I misjudged that. I thought that, yes, one of those teams had a little bit of an angle, but maybe not enough to take everyone else out. So I'm very surprised Moonwolf are now down to just a single player. Everyone is going to be looking to exit these compounds early. This is really interesting as well, by the way, because if you think, Washout's actually going for the revive, which I think is bold. He might get seen by great people only if he's not careful, but I think he has got an opportunity here to duck inside this compound and see if we can get his teammate in to revive.
Educause crawling slowly but surely. Door is open. He's keeping himself nice and clear as well. Beautiful work. Moonwolf will sustain with 2 members here. But look at how many teams they have to go through.
And that's the reason why, even though these compounds are in the next circle, Dodge, we have people trying to move out of them now. They know that if they get forced out, and that's when everyone moves, it's just going to be a complete and utter Charlie Foxtrot. So they need to get out of there and get into a position very, very quickly. And the longer these guys stay in here, great frag on I'm a Minute. Jesus, Fraser, calm yourself down. Beautiful from across the way to get that kill there. But the later these guys leave it, the more they're leaving to chance when they exit the compound.
Pitching arms are on point today. Vitality still within that gatekeeping position, but they are going to sustain a couple of casualties going in. The Anime Boys also looking for the shots down onto G2. Wacko taken to the floor with a beautiful peak shot coming out of one of our unknown players. Love to call him out, but VLAN will be the next in line. He's taking shots from elsewhere, and that's going to be much, much further away. So the Anime Boys really holding their own up against G2 here. VLAN is looking for the aggressor here now.
There's not too much in the way of cover there. What a great clutch, by the way. That's the rest of G2 going down, and we're down to 13 teams in this lobby. G2, by the way, who have done phenomenally well in the first game and look to be one of the teams that are shooting up the leaderboards, suddenly are the first one out this time around. Team Vitality also getting pushed on the other side here as well. Ninjas in Pajamas trying to get in there. Are they trying to move into the compound? Are they just trying to get away? It looks like this is an aggressive move by NIP. What the hell? These frags today, Dudge.
Hollywood on point, beautiful arm coming through, and we said it earlier, Vitality have to hold off against so many players. That will make it difficult. Sheer numbers, sheer force coming through, and it was NIP who really broke the camel's back on this one. Monkey going to be taken down next, Sweater making the push through the rest of his squad mates. It looks like they're vying for position here, and if they're able to take Vitality out of the game, this could be absolutely huge. We do have Unknown currently medding up inside the smoke, but the breach will come through very, very soon now.
This is the battle for the gatekeeper position. So one of these squads is going to win the right to camp that ridge and take out all of the teams that come in from the top. Another excellent frag grenade, and I believe NIP are going to be the ones taking this, but watch FaZe Clan. They have rotated in. You can see them there on the 8 o'clock position on this circle. As soon as Moonwolf and all of these guys move out, FaZe and NIP are going to have so much fun. This will become a shooting gallery. A lot of kills about to come in. Your teammate! Don't kill your teammate!
FaZe switching positions with House of Noble and already starting to get kills here. They have 4 across the board. They're going to be looking for more. Calvin Klein coming across the road as Mixie. He didn't look twice, but he just got very lucky. No peek coming through just in time. NIP securing the compound. Things are really lighting up now as 2 gatekeeping squads on the southwest side of this circle. And as everything is moving in, this is going to light up very soon.
It is, and we have FaZe, and we have FaZe, and we have Ninjas in Pajamas being the gatekeepers here. They're going to rack up a lot of kills. By the way, Washout ended up killing himself. How did you do that, you ask? The vehicle got really low, and he hit a rock immediately after he got shot, so effectively no one else got that kill. A little unfortunate for FaZe, because they did a great job taking the vehicle up, and never mind. Here come all of the shots going down. FaZe already getting 2 hits, and Kajuti trying to juke and jive his way through the field here, but these guys are so on point with their shots. The only problem they have is that there are way too many targets to choose from.
GPO going to be taken out almost by 1 here, but that is return fire coming through as Kajuti's able to secure something out of nothing. Beautiful work. FaZe also trying to maintain their position, shoot towards the east, shoot towards the south, but they do have the House of Nobles up towards their north. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, another circle, another zone sponsored by the FaZe Clan, hashtag FaZe Up, as we're going to be seeing some more gatekeeping strats come through.
House of Nobles actually look to be in a pretty good position as well. They're the only ones north and are able to rotate in. So we'll keep an eye on whether they can do anything about that. Knights might have something to say because they're going to end up rotating north as well. So those 3 teams are really battling for the northern half of the circle. In the meantime, the rest of the Clown Fiesta is continuing as Ninjas in Pajamas look for any stragglers that might be coming across the road. Still 2 teams dealing with their 7 in total at the moment. This is game number 2, ladies and gents, of the very final day of play before we have split 2 here at PUBG Online.
I love this. FaZe identifying that the House of Nobles are going to be their biggest adversity, their biggest adversary. I cannot speak at all because I'm actually quite excited for this next
They're
one.
dudes
So they
with
are going
guns.
straight for it. They're looking for Knights as well, looking up towards the north, repositioning themselves whilst also putting themselves in a position to deal with what looks to be the biggest aggressors coming through.
Yeah.
And Knights looking to take these shots already.
And that's really good of them as well, because the further north they push into House of Nobles, the further away they get from the 3 or 4 teams that are going to be trying to push their way in from North Georgia Pole. So they're reducing the chances of someone accidentally sneaking past them and getting a couple of kills on them. They don't want that to happen. They would much rather take a 1v1 fight and know that they are better than the squad that they are taking on. So I love that FaZe are moving north. I love that they're taking on the House of Nobles. Knights, if they're smart, they're just going to watch on.
Oh, tempo picking up very quickly here. Circle moving in. Knights losing a player. House of Nobles making a push down onto Mixie, whilst Fuzzface and the rest of FaZe Clan keeping a nice hilltop position. But that's one player from the FaZe Clan going down almost immediately. One nade does come out to look for a return kill. But as the push comes through, our tempo has been raised to such a point where this is going to be so hectic.
Unknown has killed unknown. I am like, what is happening in the game is genuinely unknown to me right now. Another unknown on an unknown action. A lot of people are going down right now. House of Nobles are pushing in towards Knights. I think FaZe Clan got caught in the middle of that. They are not out of the game at all, by the way. There's still 3 of them there. But Fuzzface is not enjoying life right now, and they have to defend against Flix, who's being very bold with his position, actually. He's quite far out of touch with the rest of his team.
FaZe perhaps not noticing just how far they were pushing into the House of Nobles, allowing Flix now also to get himself into a position to try and take out FaZe should they mount the push going forward. The Knights also sustaining a couple of casualties on the outside as NIP also looking for extra fights, and they will win one of those brilliantly. Mikaz will look to trade out on the rest of this. He's going to have to play against this circle though, and at this point it will start to chunk. Team 5 taking some excellent damage.
Oh, and this is frustrating because he's reviving. Yeah, he's reviving while he's actually taking damage himself. He's going to have to duck straight back in and met up. Mikas!
Oh, baby!
Jeez. I mean, they did it, but oh my God, can they possibly get more high intensity than that? Now, do Ninjas in Pajamas realize that they are still behind them? Okay, Borg, actually, he's healing up at the moment. He might not know that there's someone coming in from that direction. They're not looking over there right now, so an opportunity for Team 1 here to potentially come around the back and pick off NIP.
Pushing as hard as they can. That will be Vitality with... Sorry, not Vitality. That will be NIP with excellent position on this next circle. FaZe will have to move into them, and suddenly what seemed like such a great position for them is leaving them reeling as they have to play on the back foot versus...
Exactly.
Yes.
Team 1 and Ninjas in Pajamas actually have the best position right now, because if they find a safe way to retreat back to the edge of the circle near where the crate is, I think Hollywood and Borg might actually be in the best place. As long as they don't get snuck up on by Team 1, they have a great view of FaZe coming in from the left-hand side. Knights, they have some cover, but realistically, they're not going to be taking NIP out unless they move quite far. And then, of course, House of Nobles are all the way on the other side, and NIP don't have to worry about them at all. So Hollywood and Borg at the moment are actually in prime position. Everyone has to move towards them. Their biggest threat is Team 1.
We've seen it enough so far today. You throw enough at the wall and some of it will hit, and that's going to be exactly the case with players in this event. NIP, only a 2-man squad currently, will have to face off against 2 squads, and beautiful work start this off as Niels goes down onto the ground. Hollywood, however, has been traded out as well. One of the unknowns looking to get Ansi, and Borg will have to play a medic on the outside. However, Dradon taken down, Niels taken down.
Kramer interrupting this fight here and might actually allow NIP the opportunity to get both of their team members back up. He manages to take out Team 1, so going slightly further away from the rest of his team. I don't think he'll be able to get Dradon back up there because he's incredibly low at the moment. FaZe at the moment on the north side of the circle still doing incredibly well, getting Vanity as well and allowing themselves beautiful positioning at the end. NIP with 1 person going down once again, and Knights, I think, are now struggling, but what a great flank they had.
FaZe fighting against the circle, fighting against the pressure, and Fuzzface finishing that kill off. 2 teams now remaining. NIP versus the FaZe clan. 3 players versus 2. Borg and Hollywood needing to med up. The AUG will be facing down against the clan.
I feel almost sorry for Knights there, but they've actually shown us what they're capable of in this game. Unfortunately, that rotation was not kind to them at all. Oh, another down is not good. They know it's a 3v2 situation. As soon as they hit it down, they're going to push. Borg now having to be abandoned by his teammate, knowing that he can't actually have time to med. Fuzzface goes down, but it's not enough.
2 games in a row, man. Incredible work as FaZe pick up the second game of this evening. They're filling their bellies on chicken dinner tonight.
If there was any question about them potentially falling outside the top 16, that is well and truly gone now. Okay, they're not one of the top 3 guys here, but I assure you they have cemented their position in Showdown as a result of this. Beautiful work from them, and a fantastic job, by the way, from Ninjas in Pajamas, doing a great job gatekeeping that final circle out of North Georgia, Paul. That was always going to be a big, big fight. It allows them to pick up a lot of kills as well. They've got 8 kills to their name, and FaZe are walking away with 13. So fantastic points to add to the scoreboard as well. A lot to talk about with how the circles actually continue to diminish and give us really different dynamics of that game in the final 10 minutes. And I'm sure the desk will have a lot to say. Gentlemen, back over to you.
Thank you very much once again, Jurasar and Dudge. It does not matter when you are FaZe Clan, whether the circle is in military, whether the circle is north of North Georgia. It doesn't matter. You're coming from Milta, winning a second game. And here's something that I think everyone should know. FaZe Clan, before this game, had 1,037 points this season. In order to get to third place, they need 1,167. FaZe Clan just jumped from 11th place to 3rd. They are now in the money with back-to-back wins. So
they're pissed they lost GPL.
They're just out here.
They're mad.
Yeah, making a statement if you're FaZe, and I think that that's very important. And on the bottom end of this thing, we need to talk about something else. Yeah. Vitality getting 13th place at that game, 11th in game number 1. It is realistic for Vitality to not make top 16. Right now, they are in 14th after game 1, not after this last game. After game 2, Great People Only will now pass them. They will drop to 15th. Wind and Rain and Spet Gaming have officially lost their spots. They will not make Showdown. House of Nobles, Moonwolf, they are right on Vitality's tail. If they pass Vitality, Vitality is team number 17. They do not make Showdown.
Well, Moonwolf did have a pretty bad second game after a good first game, so it's possible. I mean, in their defense, constant swings added with having to drive through a city, like, it's brutal. But on that note, that's actually a perfect transition. Well done, myself, into talking about
well
FaZe,
done,
because,
myself. Wow.
Yeah,
good job, me.
FaZe, we've talked about this all the time because they do this all the time. They have, like, from Milta, whenever they go to any circle that is west or north, they always swing up and swing around Severny. This time around, I was actually a little worried for them because it looked like the Knights were in position to punish that rotation. It didn't end up working out that badly or really badly at all. I think there's a couple of missed shots. It wasn't too heavy of a commitment by Knights, but they made that rotation. That was one reason why I put them in such a strong spot once the circle swung north, even once. One swing north put them in a great spot, but then the constant swing up put them in such a crucial spot, which is one of the big reasons, outside of the fact that they're just godlike on aim, to why they won this game. But my real question is, like, not question, I guess, but it's just observation. I'm surprised that other teams haven't started to replicate this. Because one thing that makes this rotation super strong is not only the fact that they're able to avoid a lot of people. Milta Power, it's far off, so they have to come in late anyway if they're not in the circle, unless, you know, they want to race. You're not going to win a race if they're so far off. This means that this allows them to drive around and kind of avoid where most of the gatekeepers are going to be, because in the looting spots, it's either central, south, or northwest. Very few people loot onto the northeast side, and so it's usually a safe rotation for them, and they're able to avoid the heavy population stack on the south side or central of circles that tends to be there. And if people don't start copying this, they're going to continue to be isolated and alone. And so the real question is, like, when will teams start to say, hey, you know what? Let's stop going to these areas. Let's take a longer rotation, but, you know, it'll put us in a spot to avoid a lot of contact.
I have a question for you, Poro, based off of that. We have that circle, North Georgia Bowl, right? It's up. I mean, the city itself is a lot of the zone. I think it was like Circle 3, where both north and south are safe. When that turns north, the worst place you can possibly end up is in the city of North Georgia Bowl. Mm-hmm. It is the worst place to be right here. This is, if you are anywhere on the map, you do not want to be in the city. Do teams need to do something like Cameron said and rotate out south and around and get up into the northern plains? Do you need to do everything you possibly can to just stay out of the city? Is it worth risking death on rotation to get out of the city?
I mean, I think normally, typically most teams will try to get themselves in a position where if they are in the city, they can at least, they're in like the northern part of the city where they can start making their way to those hills up there. But these circles were shifted so hard. I mean, so hard. Yeah. So after the first circle, you saw whenever the second circle popped and it went over, you know, it went north and went on to North George. Pretty much every team was in the south.
Right.
And they had to try to drive in there. And depending on how far south they were, and you saw them, a lot of them were more towards the edge, they were coming in late. So there wasn't really that opportunity to try to make their way towards the northern end. So I mean, at that point, the safest thing to do was probably to try to crash into the city and get whatever real estate they could possibly get. I mean, you saw by the time Moonwolf got there, everybody was already there. Right. I mean, they got absolutely just destroyed. But at the same time, you saw multiple teams holding the hills just to the north of George, which, I mean, personally, I love those hills. I think that's where we saw, oh man, who was it? I can't remember.
Like north of the
there's two. I think it was Alliance. Alliance got in a fight with somebody there.
Oh, you're talking about this game. Sorry.
Yeah. So and then, you know, I really liked Vitality's positioning. Had it not been for, for Hollywood coming in with some crazy grenades and, you know, Nip just kind of making a silent push onto this. I mean, Vitality had a really, really good position there. I mean, before they lost this, I mean, FaZe hadn't even moved to those hills. You can see that they were kind of transitioning that way. And yeah, now that Nip has kind of finished off Vitality, FaZe has already kind of made their way to those hills. You know, I feel bad for Vitality because I feel like they're making smart plays. They're taking good positioning, and for whatever reason, it's just not working right now. Hopefully they can figure something out and finish these last two games pretty strong, because I think this league will be worse off for not having Vitality in it.
Interesting opinion there. So here's the situation that we have when it comes to points. Right now, the team in 16th place is Spet Gaming with 884. This is after game one. But in between, let's say 700 points and 1,000, so a 300-point gap. That's kind of where all the middle lie. There are from 11 to 27. There are 16 teams in that window. 16 of points. And right now, Vitality, Great People Only, House of Nobles, Moonwolf. Those are the teams that are right there. There are 3 spots, and there are 5 teams. They're all playing today. They cannot all make it, unless somehow, possibly, some of them go crazy and they push out teams that played yesterday, like Exalt, which is right now 12th overall. They could hypothetically drop all the way down if all those teams pass them to open up a 4th spot. But right now, with only 2 games left, it's looking really difficult, and 2 of these teams are not going to make it. They're just not. Now, Vitality kind of put themselves in this position by having a tough 2 first games. All they really need to do is play somewhat consistent today and stay up in points. An 11th and a 13th, they have not grabbed a ton of points. They're going to be in 15th, if I'm not mistaken, right now after this game, because they will get past. Spet Gaming's going to lose their spot. Wind and Rain's going to lose their spot. House of Nobles will go up. Moonwolf will go up. House of Nobles will go down. Moonwolf, yeah. So, I mean, it's tough. I don't even know what to say, because it all comes down to these last 2 games. Vitality has a bit of a cushion, but it's only about 20 points. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, these teams are right behind them. So we get to the point here where we're looking at Vitality, Great People Only, Moonwolf, House of Nobles, and Knights. Who gets in? Who doesn't?
I mean,
That's
House of Nobles and Knights both had good games last game. But as far as placement goes, very low kill. Knights have kind of been putting themselves in good positions here. They're just, for whatever reason, not getting the kills to kind of give them that extra bump. I still like Knights, but House of Nobles, they look like they're starting to turn it on a little bit. And I also want to give props to Nip. I mean, Nip currently kind of towards the bottom of the standings, but that was a really, really, really well played game by them.
Absolutely. I think after the BFA. So here's kind of what it looks like right now. House of Nobles has clutched 16th. Spet Gaming has been eliminated as they are not playing today. Wind and Rain also not playing today. Moonwolf you see in 19. We see House of Nobles in 16, Vitality in 15, Great People Only in 14. They're all playing today, all of those teams. If we could scroll back down a little bit here. Let's just kind of check this one out. I want to see who is playing today. It's close. Oh, okay, we got 20 seconds before game starts, so we're getting pretty close in. But it's that Exalt Gaming spot. That is the one that opens it up for one of these teams. If all of them can pass Exalt, then that opens up one extra spot for the teams playing today. But it's close. Look at Vitality. They're literally only 16 points ahead of House of Nobles. That'll push them into 16th. And that's where it becomes very, very dangerous and very, very important. We'll be visiting this again, hopefully after Game 3 if we have the time. And we will definitely check it out after Game 4 and get the final answer on who makes it in. It's very stressful. I just want everyone to make it, guys. You know?
Right.
I don't like people being eliminated.
40,
it makes
must,
me sad.
must
40 teams, 40,
Everybody's
40
a winner.
squad servers. Let's do this.
Yes, 40 squad servers.
Yeah.
Just switch to duos and make them trade off.
No,
It'll be
not
terrible.
even duos. 40 squads of 4.
Oh, 160 players on the map. 160 players on the map. Yeah.
Easy.
Where's Alliance sitting currently?
Alliance is good now, I think. Alliance got up to, if I'm not mistaken, they got up to like 12th. So I think Alliance is home free. If I'm not mistaken, let me just get you. Yeah, they're in 12th right now. So they should be okay. I don't think all those teams are going to pass Alliance, all 4 or 5 of them. I think as long as they don't throw a little egg here and get 2 14ths, they should be all right, and Alliance should be into showdown. So keep an eye on all these teams in game number 3 and 4, everyone. We're about to jump into game number 3. I'm stressed out. I'm rooting for everyone, and they can't possibly all make it, but it is what it is. So good luck to everyone that's playing. Hope you guys play your best. And let's get right into game number 3 right now with Jorasar and Dutch.
Viva la Vitality.
Thank you once again, gentlemen. We are back on Erangel, and we are back with 14 teams on the map coming in from the plane. Less of an ideal plane route this time around, but we'll see where the teams do want to go from this. Of course, I'm joined once again by Jorasar. Now, Joro, what do you really think about the standings? What do you think that's going to mean for Game 3 here?
Oh, I mean, the teams that are currently sat outside of 16th place, really, we're looking at Moonwolf on 8-6-3. How many points sit between them and House of Nobles? You ask, don't worry, we've got the quick maths in the building. It's 60 points exactly. And further back from them, Knights, they are a further 61 points adrift. So realistically, Knights need 2 top 3 finishes to stand a chance to finish in the top 16. They might be able to do that, but Moonwolf are looking like they could overtake Spet Gaming. Here's the problem. They overtake Spet Gaming at the moment. That leapfrogs them into 17th place. So they have to do just a little bit more than that. But it is comfortably within their grasp. This 7 o'clock to 2 o'clock plane, cutting out a lot of our Georgia Pole strats. Nobody going to be going up Severny or Stalba this time around, which means that the southern coast of the main island is going to be particularly crowded today.
Taking a look at Moonwolf as well, we've seen some very unfortunate things coming through from these guys. Game 1, they were in such a fantastic position to take the game. They had 4 players left alive in a 4 versus 1 scenario. In Game 2, an unfortunate rotation into Georgia Pole North netted them some bullets straight into their car, as Fraser is already going to be taking out one of the anime boys here. But, well, taking back to Moonwolf on this one. That unfortunate rotation took them out of the game very early. They have so much to play for here still, and as you mentioned, they still have a chance, but they really need to pick it up, and they just need to knuckle down with this one game.
Exactly right. Oh, Jesus Christ, Circle. What on earth are you doing to us today? Alliance are going to be, even they're going to be slightly questioning this because all of a sudden people are going to be rotating into them a lot sooner than they thought. Now, there is no hedging bet, ladies and gentlemen. I will happily give someone 20-1 odds right now, maybe 20-1's a little bit mean, that the circle will end up on the military island. It will not be North. Ferry Pier and G2 are not going to be praying to the gods, or if they are, they're going to have to pray pretty damn hard. What on earth is this circle, Dutch?
Just taking a look at it, we always talk about this, especially with the extreme circles. How much of the outside of the circle is land? How much of that can be used as an entrance or a safe entrance? In the case of this, none. Next to nothing. It's awful. It's so difficult for these teams to now move in, and this is going to mount so much pressure. We already have some bridge trolls coming in as ZP Alex is going to try and take Koiran Pasca out of his vehicle, but as soon as Koiran Pasca gets over that bridge, he's still going to run into tower as well.
I was about to say, you know what? This is exciting because this might be the closest thing we get to a pro game bridge camp that we've seen in a very long time. First circle coming in like this, we could genuinely see some funny gatekeeping going on here. Great people only, having a think about it, but it looks like they're going to continue moving on. Someone will take the bait, I promise.
This is going to be such a difficult game to take a look at, and this first circle, the first position, is going to mean everything for these teams. Now, of course, in the pro scene, not too much time to loot, especially when you are under pressure. Now, nothing says pressure quite like getting to the other side of the map into a tiny zone with 51 other players, aside from your own four-man team, alive on the map to put pressure on you. This is going to be difficult. This is going to be a fast-paced game right here.
And taking a look at that, like normally in a circle like this, you would expect everyone to go, right, we need to go immediately. We need to get in our vehicles, get across the bridge and not get caught out. It's difficult to do that at this moment in time because people haven't even all found vehicles yet. That's how quickly this situation was bestowed upon our players. So the way this is going to play out is really interesting. We're going to get it very dynamic for the teams that managed to find vehicles already, but similar to what we saw previously tonight already, I think we're actually just going to see a lot of swimming, especially with the teams around Primorsk and Ferry Pier. FaZe, not so much. We might actually see them grab a boat if they're lucky, but around Milta Power, it's very difficult to spot a vehicle from atop those cliffs.
Exactly. Plenty of dolphins to be seen inside this game, and well, that's what we have to expect coming forward. The Eastern Bridge, if I can just quickly take another look at the map really quickly, could be an entrance for many of these teams, but it's Moonwolf to put their feet on there first. They will claim that land if the rest of Ejikoz's team is able to join him shortly. Vitality also in a position to take that, followed by FaZe, followed by Knights if the rotation does come in that order. Of course, they could run into a duo from Alliance, so still a lot of questions to be asked. And as you mentioned, it looks like water will be the safest retreat for many of these players.
So we're going to see a lot of action. Millbase, Novo getting looted before coming into the circle. Of course, these guys are going to have to bug out. There's no, there is absolutely none of the east side of Military Island here. It is brutal. More than half of the circle is water, and we're only going to be dealing with the western side of the island. This is going to be a spectacle and a half as the teams now start jockeying for position. Yes, okay, there's a crate there, but realistically, that's not going to get taken. Moonwolf. Oh, please, Moonwolf, bridge camp the right-hand side. Make me happy. Come on.
They could start taking the troll toll. That would be quite amazing, especially considering the players that will have to come to them. Vitality, FaZe, perhaps Knights as well. FaZe in positions like this, we've seen them take boats. So with that, if they're able to find that vehicle, get themselves down to the south side and enter the zone from a position which wouldn't be expected, which, you know, taking that surprise entrance is a large factor to play here. You
know who we needed really to do this? We needed Havu to bridge camp. That's how they get their 95 kills. I feel like they've missed a trick here because I think they're actually they're either in a boat or they're swimming from Primorsk over at the moment. And yes, they'll get to the circle all right, but nowhere near in as explosive a fashion as we really want, to be honest.
Exactly, and especially when we do have these water circles, we call them dolphins, right. None of them are going to be turning into sharks, and it's not exactly the easiest of gameplay for the early stages. Getting out of the water, playing for the position, very difficult should there be any players playing Fisherman on the outside.
Dude, you know what we need in this game? You know what we need?
The Jaws
we need
theme
a
tune?
harpoon. We need a harpoon. So if you're willing to carry a harpoon with you when you're swimming within a certain distance, you can actually just spear people and kill them. But it takes it takes up a weapon slot, right? So that there is a trade-off there. But you see this, you walk into a room with a crossbow and a harpoon, and you go, "Don't worry, I got this." You pick up the harpoon, you go to the ferry pier. That would be great.
I quite like the idea of nade fishing as well, but not fishing with nades at the second. It's going to be Alliance fishing with bullets. ZP Alex taking a lot of damage, but he is able to find some coverage from trees, finding himself a decent position to sit back from. The 8 times on Sigsy's M4 will be spotting this position out, so Alex not going to be able to peek for such a long time as Alliance starting to get antsy. They want this first blood.
They really do. And to be honest, this is a fish in the barrel kind of situation. Alex doesn't really have any room to maneuver. And you can see not even trying to smoke there. He realizes he just needs to juke and jive. One more good hit, though, means he goes down there and he will get taken out by 60.
He was dancing pretty well there. Thought he was going to make it, not able to do so in the end. And we're going to be seeing the rest of a squad coming through now. Alliance having a grand old time with this one as Arizona picked straight out of that vehicle. It was VZ who secured the down in the end. And now we are going to be seeing that kill finished off as Alliance pick up 2 kills to start this game off.
Can we talk about Sigsy for a second? How beautiful it was that he was busy focusing on shooting and then taking a down player, and instantly, within a quarter of a second, spots the buggy and is immediately locked on to the person on the back of that, not even blinking and really going for... Look at this. This happened about a quarter of a second after he finished downing the previous guy. That was beautiful stuff, really good reactions, and very calm under pressure there from Sigsy.
These guys, it's no secret that they are good, and the Alliance team, solo players and as team players, fantastic performances throughout this season. Seen great things from them even before they were known as Alliance. So that's a good start into this. And
oh yeah,
taking a look at some of the players, actually, we do have a lot of veterancy on here. I know you had quite a long break from PUBGO and from competitive PUBG, but when you came back, just how many teams did you recognize these players from?
It was weird, right? Because you recognize all the players and you go, hang on a second, why is this person on this team and this person's on this team and what on earth is going on? And you end up going, wait, what's happening here? But no, the computer's back now, obviously. The return, very comfortable. A little bit sad that Moonwolf decided that they weren't going to be bridge camping. They are right ahead of Vitality, though. They could stop, turn, and shoot if they felt like it. Obviously, they're not going to, but jostling for position right now as Vitality need a plan B.
You would have also had the grand old time of coming back and thinking to yourself, what the hell? What are these orgs doing here? Suddenly picking up out of nowhere.
Precisely.
You were here for G-Core before they were FaZe as well, weren't you?
Oh, yes, and I was here for Articus as well, just camping compounds with G-Fang and co. Yeah, yes. I was here for a couple of those. And it's a bit weird. We've got a lot of familiar faces, a lot of different teams, but still same good quality of PUBG.
And just getting better and better as we have these orgs in, bringing in that extra infrastructure behind these guys to practice full out all the time and just get better and better to give us a better show each and every time. We do have one player unknown from Shapeshift Gaming just inside this tiny garage. He's going to have a pretty bad time here, but that is going to be Team 4 Moonwolf. We've been looking at these guys quite a lot.
I'm interested in seeing the rotation of Knights right now. They've just come into the circle. They've come across the bridge a little bit later than most of the other teams. Are they going to rotate north or are they going to rotate south? Wow. Okay, this is not the option I was expecting. They're going to go straight through everyone else. So that means they're going to come straight past Moonwolf in a little bit. I thought they might have gone the northern edge of the island, knowing that people would be swimming from Primorsk, but it was a little bit of a 50-50 call. This is going to be a big fight.
We have to think about the teams coming into this as well. We had huge questions about Moonwolf coming in, considering their questionable performances in games 1 and 2. Also, Knights, another team we picked up some discussion points on. We've said that these guys can do some fantastic work, and indeed, we've seen these guys play incredibly and out of their mind. They're actually coming up against one another as teams already. Draydon just taking some shots through this chain link fence, able to hit just a few, but nothing too consequential. These two teams, if they're able to fight, we've got a full story going on
That
here.
was really good from Knights, dude, because what they did, I mean, if they could get the kills, they go for them, right? But they just kept peppering the cars with shots until Moonwolf got in a position where they were no longer a threat to Knights. That's all they really wanted to do. Knights are happy to sit here and do nothing else right now that Moonwolf are out of the way. So they've established their territory, and they can sit pretty till the next circle. I really like what they did there.
Keeping space, creating space, and maintain their guard and forcing Moonwolf straight out. And Moonwolf
don't go in there.
Straight into FaZe. Our back-to-back winners here. The 2 times themselves coming in, looking to make it free. Of course, we've seen another squad here at PUBG Online do just that. They managed to make 3 games, followed by another in a separate online league, and they're currently sitting at first Liquid. So FaZe coming in, making a statement and muscling forward. As said on the desk, now in the money.
Uh-oh, Shapeshift Gaming, a player unknown. This is the cave of Brendan Green. What are you doing invading here? He actually knocked down one of the Knights, and he's back up right now, so obviously they know someone is in here. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to flush them out. Oh, Jesus! That nade practically exploded in a left eye socket there, so that is that as far as these guys are concerned. And unfortunately, Brendan Green will no longer be an inhabitant of this cave.
We're also seeing the experience coming through in here from Sifel as well, just turning around as soon as that flashbang came through. We've all been taken by that a few times. Now, down into the south of the circle currently, we do have FaZe. They took the entrance, which we expected them to take, moving around to the south side and finding themselves a compound on the Sosnovka Island. They will be fairly central for the next zone as well. Of course, still 20 seconds until they are forced into anything, and 15 seconds now as Moonwolf also still within that zone. Also, talking points on these guys.
FaZe in complete control of this compound. No particular desire for them to move just yet. And this is actually a fairly quiet period for them. No one else within shouting distance. They're feeling fairly good. A couple of teams might attempt to rotate in and see if someone's there, but of course a couple of bullets will take care of that. Really, we're going to be waiting to see where people want to beach themselves. We have swimmers, we have people in boats over quite a lot of the map. You can see there's at least 4 teams that I could see in the water still as we go further south. Very nice initial hits, actually, from Moonwolf. O'Connell getting a hit, but unfortunately he gets traded out as well as I'm a Menace decides enough is enough.
I'm a Menace also going to be coming in and just ruining the Moonwolf game, the 4-man dream, as that will be a finalization on that kill. Of course, Snake is still around and is looking for the approach. We can see him peeking currently. But I'm a Menace not under enough pressure to make him push forward just yet. Nades starting to come out to provide that coverage.
Spots him down there, and all of a sudden I'm a Menace might actually have a better position than Moonwolf right now. Being able to see he's down. Great rotate, actually back up, and Moonwolf should now have the upper hand. Snake managing to get him. I have to say, when I'm a Menace peeked and saw Snake downstairs, I felt like he would have been able to take the kill. Very quick thinking, by the way, from Moonwolf to come straight back up and regain that high ground advantage.
G2 on the back foot here, as this is going to be Fraser from Team 12 making plays, looking for VLAN, but VLAN able to take a prone position to take him out of the fight. Still, Calvin Klein and Towser going to be in the back foot, so they will push forward. Stephen Wacko down onto the floor. Calvin Klein with the M16 in hand will start to make that rotate. He has a very noticeable gun on his back as well, but choosing the AR for this one, pushing around the downside of the hill. Going to be taking those shots and wiping G2 off of the map. Beautiful work coming through from making plays, only sustaining 1 casualty.
And G2 Esports there, once again, not having the greatest finish to a game. That actually spells massive repercussions for them. They were quite far away from the top 16 anyway, still about 100 points off, maybe a bit more than that, in 26th place. This won't help their cause at all, unfortunately, and I think that mathematically ends their possibility of top 16.
Currently on screen, going to be taking some shots out at boats at sea, but that will be the jumps coming out as we'll get some Dolphins into the game next. Next circle did pop, as we saw. Alliance still taking their 2-2 split. Vitality moving into the circle now. FaZe, excellent position still on the inside, and these planes coming into play once again.
Knights, not in the most comfortable position right now, I have to say. It's a couple of teams within reasonable shouting distance. Possible good frag coming on out. Doesn't quite hit the mark. Needs to be a little bit over to the right-hand side. Great spray control, though, from the M4. Gets Niels and will be able to finish him off as well. So still continuing to fight. I wonder, is Knights... is this the only remaining survivor on Knights, actually? No, we have the rest of the team nearby.
Squad.
Okay. Good. I was wondering... I thought their rotation was great, so I was thinking, hang on, they should actually have all 4 here, but Survivor really far forward compared to the rest of his team.
Very spread out, and Araxe will also be taking a kill down onto Iron Larry as the vehicle explosion also will finish him off on the back end of that. This military base finish, we're going to be moving away from this, you have to imagine. So these guys will have to move out. FaZe still, of course, in circle. Alliance, as mentioned before, 2-2 split. Team 3 over on the far west side, GPO, will also be looking for their own entrances. Vitality also taking the wall camp that we saw earlier from the Knights. Knights, of course, still fighting for that position, as we've said before.
Very dangerous position. Well, not dangerous, but double-edged when you get this sort of war camp position. That's why the vehicles are parked where they are. You have a really nice view, everyone running out of military base, but at the same time, people on the wall itself can see you for miles, and a sniper can take you out from, like, blocks away. So it's not ideal. As long as you've got those vehicles to block your line of sight, it tends to be a bit better. The real winners in all of this, we're looking at great people only. Fantastic compound on the edge of the circle here, but it's not likely to be in the next one. The other 2 teams are Alliance and FaZe, the usual suspects, taking fantastic compounds. At least one of them is going to be in the middle of the next zone.
Circle now going to be moving in and making these players force themselves into each other's lines of sight a little bit more. There's still plenty of time on that one, and, well, where do we think we're going to be going for this one? Because we've had some interesting circles today, to say the least, and you've been fairly decent on predicting them.
This one's a bit more tricky. Now that the circle's been rotating this way, I suspect it to go to the right just a little bit. It's possible FaZe and Alliance are both in the next circle, but my money at this point would be on FaZe.
FaZe having a very good time so far. 2 wins in a row, of course, trying to make it the 3, which we saw from Liquid as well. So Knights still under pressure. They've got to move out, and FaZe overlooking them, having their number almost immediately. Fuzzface not able to land enough of those shots to take one player off of the motorcycle. And as we're moving forward, pressure starting to mount. We do have a new crate coming in, but
Troll crate.
Anybody picking up that M249, do we think?
Absolutely, positively not. A little bit of a troll crate. So many people with guns trained on that right now. Not much chance of them coming in at all. Next circle now moving in. We're almost certain great people only going to have to move. The question is to where? Will Knights and FaZe be the lucky ones, or Alliance going to prove to be the better? Oh! And there you go, the third option we were talking about. There's a chance FaZe and Alliance are both in, and they are, but this northern circle is very interesting. This is an absolute godsend to Team 1 right now, because running out of the wrecked planes over there on the southern part of military base, that's almost always a death trap at this level, and they've bought themselves some time.
Moonwolf going to be losing one of their players and finished off with a nade, as opposed to the blue zone, of course. One thing to point out with this next circle, as Alliance having their duo stack coming in once again, they're able to secure 2 compounds between themselves as a squad, but that is going to be very difficult to hold. We'll have to see if they're able to keep things going. We've seen excellent things from these guys through the entire season. Now, of course, Sigsy and his squad mate over here, and we do have 2 other players down to the south. FaZe also having the other remaining compound within this circle. Difficult for others to make an approach.
Yes, this is a little bit of a do or die for both Alliance and FaZe here. If the next circle centers in on one of the Alliance compounds, they want their other 2 team members to rush out towards them as soon as possible, literally in the first couple of seconds. Similarly for FaZe, if they have to rush out, that's a big open space that they have across the road in front of them. They will not be enjoying this at all. And there are still 12 teams alive. It's not like they've survived to top 5 or something like that so far. All they've done is bought themselves a little bit of time. Mikas going down in the meantime too. Voxic, he was basically fishing around at the edge of the circle and will be able to get a knock there. And in the meantime, I am loving the rotation that Knights are doing. They're going towards the top, and they're doing a great job of picking up the people under the planes.
on our screen currently. GPO, team number 3, taking casualties here from Alliance's Fever with that SKS, able to take some long-range shots and finish people off through the smoke. Excellent start going through. That will clear up the move for making plays. Team 12 coming in behind, and they could indeed steal some kills off here. That's going to be 3 members of Team 3. GPO
Calvin Klein,
down.
what a nade! 3 kills from a single frag grenade. This is why chucking smokes at this sort of level tends to be a little bit frowned upon in the pro scene. They know that a couple of frags in there will do the job. Ben-IP at the moment getting completely cornered by Havu. Not an awful lot they can do right now. Sweater goes down and Hollywood takes to the seas, unfortunately. There is still one member of Havu behind them as well, so he's acting as a spotter for them as the rest of them come in. Hollywood now the only surviving member that I can see, and he has nowhere to go.
Still 2 other teams within the area too, so this is going to be very difficult for those around the outside of the cliffs. Team 15, the Knights, coming up against Team 5. So 1 under pressure. That's Unknown
Beautiful.
taking a huge frag. First aid kit will be forced out here, but Knights will use this as a position to make their rotation in. Survivor just on top of the plane. Will he be making the Assassino play? No, he's not going to do it just yet as Unknown. Able to get that med off. Just walking into Firevo. 1 versus Voxic, and he is taken out of the fight. Beautiful work as Team 1 eliminated from contention. Knights taking 1 casualty, but that's on the backside from another squad entirely. FaZe down to the south.
That's right. They're going to continue to enjoy their position for the next minute or so. But the next circle, as we moved up to the north, could actually end up going south this time around. So FaZe still have an opportunity to see if they will stay in the circle. 4 different squads, by the way, on the edge, just healing outside in the blue. That is going to go down like a sack of potatoes very soon indeed. No squad except Alliance are going to have a building in this next circle. FaZe have to move, and look at this. They're moving straight away.
Sigsy's building, however, not exactly a large one, so this will be difficult for the entire squad to hold.
Moonwolf are out.
Very small compound. Moonwolf taken out, as you say, once again, 7th place this time around, so it's going to be difficult for them in the standings. Sigsy's building here. Can they fit all 4 members into these 2 tiny buildings? We'll have to see what their option is. FaZe, as you mentioned it, they're starting to make their move forward. One of their unknown players already making the move in.
That's the M249, actually. I think they're going to be picking up. So as the circle continues to move in there, they're being a little bit more bold. Alliance, do you keep yourself split in this position? If FaZe decide to move onto one of the buildings Alliance has, it's going to end up being a 4v2. That's really scary for them. But do they have a safe way of getting all 4 of their members into the same building?
FaZe moving into Havu here. That's going to be beautiful as MXEY, Mixi, able to see these initial players, waiting for the team to come in to back him up. 2 downs already coming through. Nothing traded onto them. Mixi finishes off Tixu. I don't really mind. Now forced to go prone right next to this blue zone, and he is going to be taken down. Havu eliminated from contention as FaZe secure themselves a top 5 position in game number 3.
Very, very big there. Havu going down. So that's in 6th place as FaZe continue to absolutely wreck FaZe tonight on the PUBG Online Showdown series. Of course, this is the last evening they're going to have to improve their positions in the standings. And FaZe have gone from outside the top 10 to inside the money in the top 3 in just 2 games. 2 victories, looking to make it a 3rd.
FaZe flexing on these guys, flexing on this server and just muscling into position every time they get the opportunity. And next, their move is going to be towards Alliance. 2 players, Meteor and Fever. Well, they'll be facing off against Free very soon, but Knights still from the east side have a position onto FaZe, an ability to be able to see them. So that could halt the push so far as one of the unknown players from FaZe taken down very early on. Survivor not able to shoot the feet out just yet. Unknown going to keep his toes for now.
Beautiful shots there from Survivor to actually take that person out from underneath the UAZ. Knights are in a pretty decent position because they have actually got a little bit of a crest of a hill to work with there, keeping them away from the rest of the squads that aren't likely to want to run up. There's not much cover when you do actually run up here, so it's a very, very high-risk play. Everyone's going to be rotating towards the compounds, and Vitality are the only team that have what looks like to be a forested area. So Knights, if they keep their noses out of trouble here, could be in a good position and could be a fantastic choice to get top 3 or possibly top 2.
Vitality up in the northeast. They will be taking their chances up against Alliance. The squads within this circle, everybody's engaged in some combat of some kind here, and everything just waiting to really blow itself open. Vitality getting their position into the circle early, whereas FaZe thinking twice about their move onto Alliance with that circle shift. Mixi forced to med.
Alliance are also going to be pushed out of their compound now as well. They're rotating north. They're going to go straight into making plays, and that is just going to be 2 people into this entire squad. Fever does not know what he's walking into right now. 2 people are prone. They've definitely heard them coming, and they're looking at this point. They will get the drop on Alliance. He actually sees one, manages to trade out. Second player from Alliance on Calvin Klein, but both Alliance players go down, and Calvin Klein will be able to hold them off.
Calvin just keeping his cool. Looks like he was using the dead body for cover. Of course, that's not actually what's going to happen with that one, but he is going to be making plays in this game, and also further diminishing the hopes for Alliance to take the chicken dinner here in Game 3. Still 5 teams remaining, with coming off the back end of that play. Vitality muscled themselves into the northeast side, but they are walking so close to Knights, and they have an idea. The nade's coming through.
Oh,
3,
no.
2, 1, and there is going to be the first beautiful look. Survivor had a nade line directly on his bum as well.
Oh, and that misses just by a little bit. Survivor, the only remaining member of Knights, and unfortunately he's in a Vitality and FaZe sandwich. And if that continues and he manages to take out a member of Vitality, for example, this could once again put FaZe Clan in pole position to take game number 3. They are being menacing, moving up from the southern position. 3 teams rather, in this eastern side of the circle. Don't forget, there are still 5 teams in total. People are still trying to keep a low profile down the other end.
That's not a sandwich, though. Would like to be the in FaZe already starting to make their push forward. Mixi jumping up and down, trying to find something, but that is going to be sound given over to Survivor. Survivor keeping that trigger discipline, but he's going to be traded out 1. Fuzzface going straight down onto his belly. Not going to find these shots just yet. Survivor trying to move around the rest of FaZe, looking to trade. Could their hopes be dashed here? Survivor taking shots from every which way, and he is going to be taken out of the contention here as FaZe once again consolidating losses, and now we'll go 4 versus 3 versus Vitality.
And you know what? Knight's doing an incredible job there. They were in 19th place. No, pardon me. They were in 21st place with 802 points. Is a 3rd place realistically going to get them in the top 16? No, but if they follow that up with another amazing result in the final game, there is every chance they'll be able to do that. All focus now, FaZe versus Vitality. It's a 4v3, and let's see which one of these teams will end up on top. Can FaZe make it a hat trick?
Exactly. Honing it down now as Vitality will be gaining the circle for themselves. Unfortunately, they will be on the back foot with only 3 members versus the 4 of FaZe, who have consolidated their losses incredibly well. They've had plenty of time to med up, and even though Vitality would have heard that last firefight, they did not opt to push into this. FaZe still walking into the ambush. Will Vitality stand sentinel here?
This is absolutely huge for FaZe. They almost guarantee propelling themselves into 2nd place overall and getting a much bigger share of that split 1 prize money if they are able to win this game as well. An extra 100 points, I think, puts them within 8 points of Diamond Dogs. And of course, they have the kills on top of that as well. So that should put them into 2nd place overall. The desk will confirm or deny that straight after this. But FaZe have a lot to play for. This is money on the line for them before Split 2 begins.
Well, I think it's time for us to take deep breaths and go with our nice fast switching style as FaZe are going to start to move up. They've taken a west side here with Vitality moving over to the east. Gunshots coming down already.
Vitality in a line, not really anyone going in for a flank, but Fuzzface is going to be the one doing that on the side of FaZe. Excellent frag to begin, and Fuzzface might have the opportunity now to finish off one of the remaining members.
Fuzz with the push to peek, the peek over the top of this hill. That's going to be Shiv on the backside of this one now, and that's down. 1 player left alive from Vitality.
And it's fitting that it's going to be player unknown behind the tree. Fuzzface with that flank, and FaZe Clan, ladies and gentlemen, managed to make it 3 wins of 3. They started the day in 11th place in the standings. They have now made their way up to 2nd place. They can't catch Team Liquid, not unless 450 kills are possible in the final game. But frankly, I wouldn't put that past them at this point. These guys are godlike.
12 kills in game 3, muscling against all of the competition, making it 3 wins on the bounce. The hat trick coming through as the FaZe clan are really making a statement here tonight. And, well, if they're able to make this 4 in a row, then we really have to consider these guys contenders for our next season taking the top prize.
Exactly right. They're making a statement tonight. They came in going, actually, we're fairly confident we're in the top 16. We want the money. And they have done exactly that still with some games to play. So we'll find out just how close they can get. But Team Liquid have got to be looking at this going, ooh, that's definitely competition and a half there. Congratulations to FaZe for making it 3 in a row. And fantastic job, by the way, to Knights, who managed to basically do quite a good job, but is it really going to be enough to get them in the top 16? I don't know. Here to break it down are the Desk after game number 3.
Dudge Draw, thank you very much. Game number 3 ends, and it is FaZe once again, 3 wins in a row.
Like a broken record, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's all I'm saying. FaZe wins, FaZe wins, FaZe wins. So that's huge. I mean, FaZe has now taken second place, and if I'm not mistaken, secured second place. I do not think the only possible team that could catch them is Havu in game number 4, but I don't think it's even possible. I don't think there are enough players on the map to kill for that to happen. So if I'm not mistaken, I think FaZe has secured a second place right behind Team Liquid. They take that second place from Diamond Dogs, which was until yesterday Penta. So Penta, now Diamond Dogs. Whole name change there to throw in, just throw a wrench in it at the end. Oh yeah, we're Diamond Dogs now. So they will drop to 3rd. FaZe will take number 2. That is huge, man. FaZe is just out of control. The question now, if we're, let's stick on the top end of the leaderboard. Let's talk about FaZe here for a moment, see how they did win. Can FaZe win 4? Nobody's ever won 4. That hasn't happened. We've had Liquid win 3 twice. FaZe has now won 3. Can anyone win 4 in one day? FaZe has that opportunity going.
I mean, if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be FaZe. If anyone can do it, it can be FaZe. Or
I mean,
one of those. Liquid ran out of chances. So.
So my quick maths here.
Quick
so
maths. Poro quick maths. Right
16 kills in game 1. 13 in game 2, 12 in game 3.
Yikes.
So the good news for the rest of the lobby is they're getting worse as the day goes on. But what? That's like 40. What does that come out? 41, 42 kills. I mean, they're going bananas. They're going bananas right now.
They're getting worse.
And I don't see anybody.
A first place with 12 kills is worse.
Yeah. Like silver linings, man. It's like, at this point, like FaZe is just playing out of their minds, and you gotta, like, if they take 4 in a row, like,
if they take 4 in a row,
it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, it would be. It's amazing, and it's so awesome because this is such a huge day for so many other teams, and it was about so many teams making Showdown. Like, that was what was important, right? Everyone was like, who's making Showdown? Who's making Showdown? Who's making Showdown? And FaZe is like, no, we have our own task here today.
Yeah.
All right? And it's more important than anybody making Showdown. We want to get up to as much money as we possibly can, and they've done that. They have secured a second place. Once again, for split number 1, first place taking home 3,000 American dollars. Second place, 1,500. Third place, 500. Then the top 16 teams all qualifying for Showdown in Split 2, where they will have a chance at a part of $20,000 per region, $20,000 for EU, $20,000 for NA. So we talked about FaZe. Vitality.
Yes.
I was worried about them, and what did they do? They came in, and now Vitality has to be feeling good. They took a second place. They're going to climb back up. They're going to push some teams back behind them, and I believe they are now safe. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm pretty sure they're safe unless all the teams behind them get like first, second, third, or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's second place with 5 kills. I mean, that's and it was. I mean, it's not like the Vitality that we used to know that gets these high kill, high placing games, but it's a step in the right direction. They still made it to a very late game with full team, or I guess 3 players. So the transition. I mean, that being said, it was a military circle game, which those transitions are a little bit I don't want to say easier, but they're a little bit safer for Vitality coming.
Well, they're coming out of
Milta.
Milta, yeah.
Milta, yeah. So things went in. This was a game that Vitality should have placed highly, and they did, and that's important. That's good.
On
Yeah,
top of that, oh, I'm sorry, Cameron, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I was just, it really was just gonna echo that. It's like, yeah, it was good that they got a top placement. It's definitely a good start. It's better than nothing. Easy.
Hard-hitting
things to
analytics.
say. Yeah,
Hard-hitting
exactly. So I'm actually, you
Damn.
really should have just cut me off and told me to shut up.
But
Better for
Knights,
it.
man. Knights having another good game. They got 4th in game number 2. Here they are with a 3rd place in game number 3. Now you're sitting there and it's like, all right, Knights is looking to grab that spot. So that's huge for them. We see Survivor and Voxic here in the East, Vitality up in the Northeast. I mean, Alliance was up there. Alliance most likely secured for Showdown. Survivor taking some nice shots. I mean, Knights is in a good position, man.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. But I'm just watching this now that the map comes back up. My mind just keeps going back onto FaZe, because what's amazing about this game is the fact that they had to like fight for it. Like you could just see on the mini map. It was all. I know we already got off of FaZe. I'm sorry to bring it back, but
No, we didn't.
just the replays are reminding me about how good of a team this is. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. But yeah, no, Knights definitely are also in a really good spot at this point. I haven't done the math because I can't do math. I don't know. I can't read numbers.
True.
So I'm just going to say, maybe coming in from 23rd was obviously going to be a really, not terribly hard, but a pretty difficult, even more difficult.
It's a task. You cannot
Yeah, it
waste
definitely is.
time coming out of
Exactly.
23rd.
And after that first game was a little bad, but making it up with, what was it, a 4th and then a 3rd?
A 4th and then a 3rd for Knights. So it's, their dreams becoming very real as we head into the final game. I'm waiting.
Do you have
once
the
they,
numbers?
once they,
How far away?
I
are they
will
from
have the
scene?
numbers whenever they update it.
I'm also interested in making plays.
Okay.
That-
Scoreboards are updated just now.
Okay.
Okay. So here is the word. FaZe Clan did take 2nd place.
Okay.
They have secured 2nd place. Havu needs 160 points, and for FaZe to get 0. So they need a
Well,
win
they can't
with
get 0
15
'cause
kills.
They get 5.
Yeah, exactly. So they need a win with 20 kills and FaZe to pretty much get dead last is the situation. So there you see FaZe 1306 in 2nd place. So they have secured that. If we can scroll down where it gets messy, though, this is interesting. Vitality, they jumped up to 13th. They should be okay. Great People Only, Exalt, House of Nobles. Yeah, we're going to open up all these teams. You can see all their points.
God,
All right.
please.
So here we
Killing
go.
me.
Genside, they should be okay. They should be fine. Avangar should be fine. Alliance should be fine. Keep scrolling down. Vitality did a really good job there. They're 70 points ahead of Exalt. Exalt obviously not playing today. That is the team that may lose their spot. House of Nobles only 6 points behind them. It's very likely they overcome Exalt here. Exalt drops to 15. Does Great People Only, Moonwolf, and Knights, only 2 of these teams can get in. Great People Only, Moonwolf, and Knights, one of them is not making it. And they can only make it if they take Exalt's spot.
Well, look, you have Moonwolf in 17th, Knights in 18th, and I think in 20th you had Making Plays?
No, you have Wind and Rain.
21st,
Making Plays is
21st.
21.
Okay, but Making Plays finished 5th last game with 10 kills. So they're kind of fragging out right now. I could see them having a really good last game and maybe jumping all of these if Moonwolf and Knights don't get it together. But yeah, Exalt definitely got to be scoreboard watching right now, because definitely not nothing is certain for them right now.
Yeah, not at all.
think
It's scary, actually.
I mean, look at House of Nobles and Great People Only. I mean, 1 point separating them, and then they're only
the
a
good
couple
news.
of points here behind Exalt.
The good news for Exalt is if House of Nobles and Great People Only both pass them, okay, they're still 16th. Moonwolf has to make up 55 points to pass Exalt, or Knights needs to make up 80 or 78 points. So anyone below that, you're not getting it. There's just no way you're taking Exalt's spot. It's Moonwolf and Knights. 55 points for Moonwolf and 80. What did I say? 78 for Knights. But
80-ish.
it's about that time, guys. Game number 4. Here it is. It's happening. So everyone pay attention. Keep an eye on those teams and see who comes out on top. I'm nervous. I don't know. We will show you at the end. We will get our top 16. We'll read them off one by one and all of the things. Are we in? Okay,
We're
okay.
so in.
We're almost there.
They-
Sorry, he's like communicating things. You know, we're trying to get the leaderboard and talk about it. We're trying to make. I mean, there's so much going on with the numbers, and it's confusing me. Here is the question for both of you and chat. FaZe Clan, 4th win, yes or no? Cameron,
Yes.
Poro.
Yeah.
Chat,
Oh,
I want to see
yeah.
your yeses or your nos or your little Fs for your FaZe logos. I want to
They
see
are
all the
on
things.
Fire right now, and they're the only team to
Yeah.
They're balling out, man.
I think they're the only team to be in top 5 all 3 games so far, which is not unusual. But the fact that it's all 3 firsts.
First, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
first.
Have we ever had four
No,
firsts?
we had
Not
Team
online.
Liquid get a first, and a second.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
So close.
Yeah, so close, but not quite there. So,
And to be fair, Liquid already did the 4-piece at Star Ladder.
true, they did.
Well,
Are
Show
you,
match.
are you counting a
well, no, no, no,
third-person
that
show
was
match?
5 if you include the show match. It's
Okay,
4 if
alright.
you don't.
Watch
But that
yourself.
also has the
That's
day
fair.
break in between.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
Get
argue
that
it's
third-person
the same.
nonsense out of here.
We're not talking about lands,
all right.
man. We're talking about we're online.
Online, where the
Exactly.
real competitive experience is.
Let's go right now into our final game of the day with Dudge and Jorisar.
Thank you very much, guys. We are here in game number 4 for PUBG Online. This is our last game of the evening, the last game of the season, and the last chance for FaZe to make it 4 wins in a row for Season 1 here at PUBG Online. Once again, my name is Daniel Dujsano, and joining me for this is John Jorisar Sargent. And what are we looking for with this outlook?
Can FaZe make history? Can they make it 4 wins from 4? Extremely messy down at the bottom end of the table. Knights basically need to win a game to get themselves into sort of 14th kind of position. So if they go anywhere less than that, is it enough to take Exalt Gaming's spot if everyone else moves past them? So many questions have yet to be answered. At the end of tonight, we will know which teams go into showdown in the split.
We're going to be seeing a lot of things come out of this game, and we have to see some different performances coming through from some of our teams. Of course, with a plane route like this, we are going to be seeing some similar drops onto the map. Harvu down in the southeast at Primorsk, one of our teams that have been fairly quiet since they were one of our biggest talking points earlier on in the day. Moonwolf, a talking point from games 1, 2, and 3, dropping it down at Farm. Once again, will we be seeing them make the performance we've been expecting from them all night? And then, of course, we have FaZe and Vitality and the Knights heading around the Milta Power Prison trio.
Knights once again splitting with Voxic moving to Prison. So FaZe doing something fairly similar, although Kramer might accidentally run into Unknown very close to where Mansion is, and Tauzera having to make a little bit of a duck on Military Island to get out of the way of Alliance. So once again, very similar story at the beginning of this game. Man, Dudge, what are you expecting out of this last game? Who was going to spring the surprise that we wouldn't have seen coming?
Well, you see, the thing is, we've got a good circle this time around. That's going to be a great start for this. Not too much pressure on these teams to really get on the inside of that one and move forward for the next zones in play. Plus, I would really like to see some of our teams like FaZe get contested in a position like this. We're getting the leaderboards up here, and we can see there's still a lot to play for. There's still something to play for here in this top 10, and I really want to see some upsets come through because they make the best and most explosive storylines for sure.
That's absolutely right. And FaZe Clan coming in from outside the top 10 to second place is huge. It gets them a good amount of money going into the split. And of course, they'll be looking to get their eyes on the lion's share of the grand prize when we return and have tens of thousands of dollars at stake. So what teams are close to each other and are looking likely to attack? Not really that many at the moment. NIP are quite spread out. No one's looking for a fight in Pachinki. Georgia Paul is relatively sparse. In fact, only the anime boys are there at the moment. So things looking pretty chill to start us off, Dutch.
I mean, that's a pretty good way to go into this one. We can sit back, we can relax, we can take a look over the game as a whole. And one thing I would like to actually pull out on this one, Vitality and FaZe, in the early stages of this season, were in Korea. They boot camped, and they played PUBG Online at about 3 a.m. in the morning. They didn't do particularly well. They didn't have a great start to the season. They didn't really live up to the expectations we'd expect.
Sounds like me.
And then they come back and they have a performance like tonight. And it seems to be the story with these guys so often. Just when you're counting them out, when you're thinking, FaZe has dropped the ball, they suddenly pick it back up, throw it at you, and just beat you with the bats. It's amazing what they've done here.
And it's consistency as well. The Knights knowing when to turn into survivor mode and getting those 4th and 3rd places, those are the points that make the difference. Okay, yes, you can finish first in 3 games in a row, but in the ones where you don't just end up blowing everyone else away like the way FaZe Clan do, that consistency and getting those top 5 finishes as much as possible, that's really what gets your team the consistent results needed to be at the sharp end of something like the Showdown series.
Especially when this season is so long as well.
Yep.
I mean, we've been running this season for such a long period of time with 4 games. These teams are playing 4 games each week. And playing that over such a long period of time, you get a lot of games in. The only thing that really counts then is just how consistently you are able to place in those top 10s.
Man, it's so hard to even remember, like, what happened at the start of the season in game 2 of week 1, for example. It's just, there's so much stuff going. That's why we go on the points per game, right? Because it's difficult to remember those specific events and who did what when. Doesn't matter if you went with a 1st and a 5th, if you've actually got 2nd places all around. So it's about resetting, not having to worry about what happened before and just focusing in on the here and now. Speaking of which, by the way, I had the world's most frustrating moment the other day. I say the other day, yesterday, when I logged into some online an online social media portal which will remain nameless, but everyone knows the name of, and I genuinely got the following error message. You ready?
MySpace?
The error, yes, exactly, MySpace. It was Bebo actually, and the error message I got, and this really is like a millennials getting old sort of thing. Oh, you know what? Hold that thought for a second, because crap, the first 4 bullets actually killed Wacko there. Hollywood got a fair number of bullets off, but the first couple were already headshots, and I think that took off the helmet of Wacko as well. That was insane pinpoint shooting.
Back to MySpace.
Yes, sorry, back to MySpace. The error message I got was, I'm sorry, that's the wrong password. Did you forget your password? You changed your password 7 years and 2 months ago.
Jeez.
That's what happens when millennials get old. Like, I have not felt older in so long. How do you even have that sort of data? Like, I don't even know where to begin. This is going to be one of those, no one really thinks about millennials getting old, but one day, Granddad is going to be listening to the real Slim Shady when you go over to visit him in the care home. and that's going to be normal. Okay?
You see,
kind of thing. Oh my God.
I'm of that generation where, as a grandpa, I can then recount my youth and say, children, let me show you. Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. And you know exactly what that's... And there is actually a player in this league as well. Alexis on Fire shares his name with Alex is on Fire, another hardcore band I used to listen to God knows how long ago. So these guys they're bringing back memories, and that's what PUBG's all about.
Does that mean I'm expecting a team to be named after the members of the Backstreet Boys? Because I feel like someone's missing here. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone needs to do it. In fact, I'm sure the sponsorship has to come from somewhere. I will pay to have people change their nicknames and make this happen.
The Backstreets of Pachinki or something along those lines. I mean, we could definitely get something like that going.
Nick Carter with the silenced M16 from downtown. Has a great ring to it.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Well, I mean, we could get loads of these in as well, and a lot of our players here are also using, just references in their names. It's brilliant, especially when I'm now too old to understand some of these ones, and I'm only bloody 24 years old.
That's scary,
This is
isn't it?
making me feel really bad here.
Oh yeah, you feel old. I changed my password 7 years and 2 months ago, and I was reminded I might need help remembering my forgotten password. Jesus. Alzheimer's is setting in early. Unbelievable stuff. But
early onset dementia, our new team name.
I can assure you one thing I am not is competitive, but that might genuinely be a team name that I would come up with. So the circle's now moving in. We might have a little bit more action in the coming minutes. Obviously, this game has been quite quiet compared to the more extreme circles we've had. This is what tends to happen when the circles become a little bit more normal. There's not too much water. We're not going too far to one side of the map. Teams have more time to get in position, and they're not all moving at the same time. So this is a good thing for most of the teams. It allows us to see a straight-up fight into the end game.
Especially here, we get to see a lot of poking coming forward as well. So with those pokes, you're just using utility. You're trying to strip the utility away from the players you're shooting at. On top of that, you're creating pressure and making space for yourself to make those movements. Also, love that angle just now. We did get to see a lovely Twitch Gimp mask coming through. So team number 6 will be making their early rotation. Only a couple of shots going into the House of Nobles cars. But they will be pulling up to Havu here.
Exactly right, and Botsman is just going to take a peek around the edge and go, oh, this should be okay. Hang on a second, there are people not even in the compound. They rushed out. Incredible stuff from Habu Gaming. They heard the car and they decided, we're not going to let them peek the house. We are rushing them as the car slowed down. The sound of the engine prevented them from hearing Habu, and they pick up 2 kills.
Just a couple of 100 kills left to go before they're able to get themselves a top finish. We'll have to see whether that one does come in. Of course, that's... Yeah, let's not even go there. So Alliance also going to be moving in.
They made a start.
That's all that counts. Alliance also moving in onto making plays. Making plays, somebody that Professor Porro was able to come up with on the desk. These guys have been getting themselves into positions that we get to talk about them quite a lot this afternoon.
Very true. And they might be in a position later on to... Whoa, hang on a second. Making plays at the moment, allowing Alliance to come in without any warning shots to move them away. Interesting stuff, and they could end up going for the crate as well, which, by the way, is an M249 with a... Oh, one shot going off early from Fraser there, and Sixy is going to know that he has company on the other side of this warehouse.
It's such a good bait, though, laying the trap, allowing one member of Alliance to make that peeking shot in, taking one of the team players down almost immediately. That will be making plays, making a fantastic play to get themselves an early kill onto Alliance. Alliance now reeling, having to move back, put themselves into a retreating position, and now the only thing they are able to do is overlook this compound currently occupied by Team 12.
You don't really want to sort of move out into the open to take that crate either. They don't know it's an M249 yet. It's actually an M249 with a sniper rifle suppressor. So remember last week we were talking about the hammer trying to smash that suppressor in place. They're going to have to do that again, I'm afraid, as the random item coming in with the crate once again strikes gold. Survivor now needing to go upstairs to revive a teammate. But no, pardon me, that's actually Moonwolf. Washout, who was the last surviving member on Moonwolf for approximately the last 712 games they've played, looking like he's going to be the first one out this time.
Exactly, Moonwolf not exactly having the best of times in this evening's playing session. Moonwolf also sustaining some casualty just on the outside there. That will be Snake taking quite a lot of damage, and utility further taken away from them as the Cheer does have its wheels taken out. Snake will be trying to drive out and get back with his team. FaZe sending Mixie out to be our first scout for the squad, but he's not exactly in the best of positions here if we take a look at our overlook of the map.
Moonwolf really need this game, by the way. They need 55 points to tie with Exalt Gaming. So if they're able to hang on and grab themselves a top 5 finish with a bunch of kills, they can all but guarantee a spot in the last 16. It is all to play for here. As Velen goes down to Team 10. FaZe Clan coming in from on top of the mountain. Oh no, that is not ideal at all.
Not in the slightest, and Team 10 making their way in. Of course, Team 10, the FaZe Clan, and... well, we are coming in with these guys on a bit of a high, to say the very least. 3 wins in a row, and very difficult not to talk about these guys. It's very difficult not to highlight just how well they have been playing this evening. And still, Unknown will actually be caught in a very bad position. The meat sandwich between making plays and Alliance.
I don't know which Unknown that is, if that's Jempty or someone else, but you're very right there. He's a little bit further back from the rest of his team, but seems to be doing a good job using those tiny ridges to his advantage to at least make his way across those frustrating plains in Gatka. Doesn't quite flip the UAZ there, manages to save that. Those little dips are so frustrating. I have killed myself several times on bikes running across these fields.
I'd rather not think about how many times I've actually rage quit the game just as a result of something along those lines, but these guys, of course, are definitely much more skilled than we are here. So we'll take a look over at Team 5 now. Team 5, of course, being one A squad who have drawn our attention to them quite a few times. They've been making a few very good plays, but not able to cement their positions in the higher stages. Ninjas in Pajamas will be picking up a kill with an AWM. Let's quickly bring up the map and take a look at how far away they are. Wow, that is quite the distance.
It's certainly a long way to go indeed. So very nicely done there from their point of view, as Team 9 still continue to try and push in. Shapeshift not having a lot of luck at the moment. Team 1 just in a fantastic position in this house. I'm actually a little surprised Shapeshift want to continue pushing here, but their alternatives aren't great. Where are they going to run to? There's so much line of sight that Team 1 have on them if they want to move elsewhere, that they're going to be sitting ducks for about 30 seconds no matter where they go.
Unknown from Team 5 is going to be using that mini to get quite a lot of these high impact, high velocity shots going down onto Morizy, pinning him down very effectively here. Of course, Team 9 will have one of their own unknown players unable to be revived as a result of this. And from the looks of it, One have a fantastic position to overlook this. They also have pretty much everyone alive inside this compound, so they're not going to be under any pressure to do anything at the second. Morizy taking a couple of tags just into his hips before he lays back down onto his belly there.
You almost went full British there for a second. One does have a good position. One would consider firing from the Mini 15 at this point. But yeah, look at this. Like, we're in a situation now when you have run so far. They've spent the last 30 seconds trying to run to get out of line of sight. And all Team 1 have had to do was go, oh, okay, I'll just move to this window instead. Mori's is beyond a rock and a hard place. He is the rock and a hard place right now.
Exactly, and well, Morizy, he's not going to be having a good time in the slightest. Going back over to our map, we're actually getting to see that our squad's rotating in very effectively with 48 players still left alive. Only one team eliminated from contention so far. Everything still to play for.
And when you get circles like this where there are loads of different angles to come in, like literally all 360 degrees is a possible approach vector, you don't get that many teams hardcore engaging each other at the beginning. When you have crazy circles, you end up being in a position where, for better or for worse, you end up with 3 or 4 huge team fights early on. A couple of teams go down, or a lot of teams go down to one player. We're not seeing that here. This is plan A. This is the main game that everyone is trying to play.
Very standard game that we're getting to see as well. Nothing too extreme to throw us for a loop. Circles fairly standard as we're moving forward. No upsets in that department. Knights making their early rotation to just quickly adjust themselves. And that's what we're seeing here. Adjustments. Very small ones at that, because this game is just playing us very nicely. Thank you, Brendan.
Exactly right. And of course, Brendan's still in the game. Plenty of them unknowns still chilling out. You can see here, Knights still continuing to have a very, very nice little compound here. They are going to have neighbors Habu Gaming, who got the first couple of kills off in this game as well. G2 Esports going to be moving in on them, but no one's going to be moving in on anyone else beyond this point. We're very happy with these compounds, and these guys are very happy to wait and see which one of them will be out of the next circle.
Well, moving forward now, we will be seeing Moonwolf very close to making plays. Taking our eye a good few times here. They're moving forward. They just have to peek over the top of this hill, and they will be able to see Moonwolf, who are trying to stand as the bodyguards. They will look the big bad bouncers to the club.
Yes, indeed. Is a tag team? Is there good cop, bad cop at work here? Edgecross looking for the headshot, finds the headshot onto Calvin Klein, and he's going to go down very quickly indeed. I believe Tauzera went down elsewhere. Alex with an excellent flank, getting the drop onto Edgecross, but he can't quite finish the job. I think that, yeah, it was Edgecross finishing, which is bizarre because Alex had a second where he had unimpeded access to being able to get that headshot. So maybe a little bit of a whiff coming out from him there. He had the drop. It was a great flank, but he couldn't make it work. Calvin Klein now getting executed. Moonwolf continuing to move in.
Fraser, the only remaining player here from making plays. His position could still be compromised. It's possible that he could make the move over to towers, but Moonwolf have his number. They know where he went down, and they are looking to finish him off now. Fraser, just running in that direction, running to the southeast. And it looks like, as we can see from our vision, of course, though, Moonwolf are going to move away from this, perhaps thinking better of it, not looking to make any more trades as they have sustained some injuries here.
Also, they know that they're on the edge of the circle, and at the end of the day, they don't need to move anywhere, whereas Tauzera and Fraser do actually need to move. So Moonwolf have no problem with smoking, healing up, and then going outside, maybe, the white, to take a look at where they've gone to. And that's why Fraser has to abandon Tauzera.
Definitely needing to heal themselves up after smoking as well. Of course, very bad for you. Make sure to quit if you are on that type. FaZe getting themselves into Chopsticks at the second. As looks like Fuzzface and one of the unknowns will be at the back in the crater area. Mixie and the other unknown will be taking the main section here. Alliance also taking the same idea. Fraser, well, as he's trying to move forward, he's going to run straight into the unwelcoming arms of Metal. Just a tag, just a headshot. Beautiful. Well played, Metal. That was just a bloody godly shot.
To be honest, like, your focus is so tunnel visioned when you're actually standing in Chopstick that you're going, I see a level 2 helmet and literally nothing else. You either miss completely or you blow his head clean off, and you don't need to give Meteor a second chance.
That was definitely the case of blowing his head clean off, taking an early haircut on that one. You know, when you're just going to the barbers and they nip behind your ears, well, this guy, he had the entire chainsaw and he was ripping your face off. But taking a look at the rest,
does that cost extra?
I actually go to a Turkish barber who, they scare me every single time they pull out the straight razor, but they're fantastic. Would recommend every single time.
No, I refuse. I'll watch you, thank you very much.
I have incredibly thick hair as well, so one of the classic ways to thin out your hair is a razor thin, which is with a straight razor and a comb. It pulls very hard, but it's very effective. Now, as we do get back into the game, and we're not sure if we do have any barbers in on this one, but we do have plenty of movers as Vitality making their way into the circle, and we are seeing team number 5 or 1 on the outside of this. They do have the compound to play with, and Vitality have the ability to push or retreat here. Of course, decisions in their hands.
Very aggressive are Vitality right now. Team 1 have the compound. They're saying, look, we're shooting you from inside this compound. You know we should have an advantage here. Interesting, by the way, that the game decided that it was only the 5th or 6th shot out that window that broke the glass, but maybe it's particularly strong today. And
M4
Vitality,
got nerfed.
They're not, yeah, exactly, got nerfed quite clearly. They don't even care. They're still trying to move in, and they're still trying to take this position anyway, because later on, when someone else moves into the circle from the southwest, they don't want to have to deal with Team 1. This is very difficult for Vitality, but if they manage to get control of this compound, they're in a fantastic position.
I'm really hoping that they do retreat, because team number 1 is Vitality, and team number 5 is team number 1.
That's a good point.
O1ME. Very difficult for us to call on this one. Of course, we do have another contender coming in the form of the Anime Boys, but it's only a duo coming in from them, as they are up to the north side of the current circle with Jimmy Bones and Master on the far west side, trying to play Sentinel to Harvu on the outside.
It looks like our observer's using a first aid kit. I'm going to assume someone needs a little bit of a pick-me-up down in the office there. Moonwolf,
it's after we're talking off topic.
By the way, I'm a massive fan of this. People hate me for it. This double bush here is fantastic. People can't see you from behind, and you get to watch everything that's going on inside these houses. Double bush, best bush.
O'Connell basking in the sun, photosynthesizing for another circle. So that's going to be an excellent start for him. NIP have a compound just to the west side as Team 7 Alliance keeping control of the eastern Chopstick. Now, everybody very closely huddled together on the south side of this current circle. So everything could kick off at any point. Of course, we do have the Knights in ninjas in pajamas in the most northern position of this little area to cut everyone off, but FaZe will start taking these initial shots, able to get one down in onto G2's VLAN. Will he be able to be picked up in the meantime? No, his teammates are going to leave him here. Fantasy and Steven are just going to run for their lives.
A couple of teams I'm a little bit worried about at the moment. Havu are struggling on the western edge of the circle, and I also think Knights are going to be in a tricky position as well. NIP are moving towards them, and FaZe are in a compound directly south of them. Both Havu and Knights want to have a huge game, especially Knights, to break into the top 16, and this is not going to set them up to do that at this current rate.
I'm a Menace proving true to his name, and we do have Shiv on the outside of this compound still, overlooking the position onto Team 5. Now, whether they are able to actually move in on that, or whether they will use this position just as information and turn around just when the situation dictates. Team 11, the Anime Boys, will also be moving up to the north, and they're looking for that crate. Very ballsy play coming in from them, and Knights sustaining another casualty in the form of Survivor. One nade going to be coming down. Kramer, will he get tagged? No. Very lucky
And we were worried here. We knew that Knights were in a tricky position. They needed to finish top 3 at bare minimum. They're not going to do it. Kramer and Survivor go down. Knights go down in 13th place. And I think that means Knights are officially out of the top 16 and will not be making it into the second split in the Showdown series. Really unfortunate. Would have loved to see them there, but more action from elsewhere on the map now as Team 1 continue to be in the thick of it.
They're actually making the push here. The nade is the one to take Shiv down onto the floor. One more nade is going to be going over onto Unknown, and it's going to be taking him down. Araxe finally left standing. Will he be able to trade out onto this almost stacked team?
I am Larry. Risky business there, attempting to get the revive and run back. He gets knocked himself, but at least manages to get his teammates back in the fray there. 2 of them down, and now Vitality push in. They know now is the time to try and finish them off completely. I think only 1 member is left. Taking a few silent shots, but Monkey manages to get around the corner. Sees him inside. Doesn't manage to finish him off with the M4, though. And we stay alive for now.
Almost turning it single-handedly. Unknown and Araxe are still in the equation, but that is also going to be Team 1 with a little bit of a disadvantage, having to play medic to a couple of squad mates. On the outside, Araxe is... No, not with the circle imposing. Very, very quickly.
They were maybe like 2 or 3 seconds away from being able to rush as they started rezzing, but Araxe and co just a little too slow. So now they're going to be camping them out, hoping that they're the ones that leave the compound first and seeing if he can sneak around the back. I am Larry, they're right behind him, and it looks like that is it.
What a play! Absolutely fantastic. FaZe have lost their bearded god in the form of Fuzzface going down in the field. The rest of FaZe still pushing forward, though, and Unknown will be He'll be pushing onto Venity here. Harvu just on the backside as well, trying to complete this sandwich, throwing out a couple of nades. Just scouting this area, and Fuzzface, rest in peace, brother. You're gonna have a tough time being picked up here. Mixie has a good clue as to where the rest of Harvu are.
Uh-oh, O'Connell also just died outside to the play zone. I don't know if any people are still left alive from Moonwolf, but they're the other team that really needed a big result here. We're now looking at FaZe once again, coming up behind Havu. Mixie knows that they're there. He does have a numbers disadvantage, but he also has this fantastic ridge that he could use. If he picks off, I don't really mind early on. He can actually take a 1v2, 1v3 kind of engagement here, and Havu don't know exactly where they are.
Well, you're going to have to keep on going for this one. I'm just reloading my client right in the middle of this thing. And here we go. There's going to be the shot over the top. Encelento, the first to be taken down. The rest of the FaZe clan pushing in, trying to play support and trying to back up their own comrade. Mixie here just looking for that angle, looking for the push, looking for an opportunity to make this 4 wins in a row, whilst the rest of FaZe moving around the side.
Fantastic flank, really good spread, and Yorski actually in the background manages to take people down. It's effectively a 1v1 at this point. Loads of people actually down right now. Unknown versus Encelenso and Yorski as everyone scrambles back to their team to try and get the revives on. Yorski has to be aggressive now if he wants to try and finish this off. FaZe Clan could be in for an early exit here in game number 4.
Venity hiding just away, keeping himself nice and safe, trying to maintain the chances for the House of Nobles. But we do have the FaZe wounded members starting to move back to the team. Of course, Harvu can still mount this push, and it looks like Jorski will be going on the aggressive front. And here it is, just finishing those players off. The circle now starting to shrink. And as that shrink is going to be coming through for us, so will our movements. These 3 players going up against one another. Unknown, not able to land some of those shots. Able to
got a bike.
pick this bike back up. Is this
High
gonna work?
risk, high reward. Evil Knievel, come on! Oh. I really
FaZe
wanted it
eliminated
to work.
fourth.
I wanted it to work. I'm sad now.
The 4-win streak not going to become a reality, as it looks like Team 11, the Anime Boys, will be picking up another win here as they find themselves in a 4 versus 1 scenario versus Shapeshift Gaming's I'm a Menace.
Anime Boys versus Shapeshift Gaming. Shapeshift Gaming, who were in 36th place earlier. Anime Boys in 24th. Even a win here wouldn't propel them up enough points to get into the top 16, but they get their time in the limelight, and they certainly will have an opportunity to show everyone what they're made of, potentially for a little bit more in the way of sponsorship, as well as they spot him crawling through the wheat field. That is going to be that. An explosive last couple of minutes, but maybe not involving the teams we'd normally expect.
FaZe once again picking up a top 5 finish, but this time it's going to be 4th place as opposed to the first, which we were questioning going through with this one. But of course, taking a look at points 1 and 2, we do have the Anime Boys picking up that 1st place dinner, and they are going to be going forward quite happily and content to finish this season off on a high. But, well, with that, I'm going to let you close this one out because I need to take a breather after these 4 games. What an incredible night we've had.
A couple of the teams we were looking to get into the top 16. Knights finishing this game in 13th place. Moonwolf finishing in 10th. Both of those teams started this game in 18th and 17th place. I do not think they will make their way into the top 16. It all depends on our House of Nobles, Great People Only, and whether Exalt Gaming managed to hang on. A lot to talk about. 3 wins on the trot for FaZe Clan in 4th place in Game 4. 3 plus a 2nd place for Team Liquid does better that a bit, but oh my god, have they got a lot of competition in the 2nd split. It's been tremendous fun casting the games this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jorisar. Joining me is Dudge. We hope you've enjoyed the games. That's us signing out for tonight as we hand you one more time back over to the incredibly handsome desk. See you later.
Game 4 ends, and the FaZe Clan dream is not a reality. Hey, I was sitting there, I was like, it could happen, it could happen. Havu giving them the business, though. I mean, Havu out there, making some plays. They look great. It's unfortunate because I wish Havu would have started a little earlier. 4 wins we needed out of them, 95 kills. I thought that dream was going to be a reality. All in all, there's 2 very important things in this game. And that was our 2 teams that were so close to top 16. I mean, that's the highlight. It is just – we're going to get the top 16 to you guys in a second. We'll just take a second, break down the games a little bit while they do all the scoring and things. So, Cameron, let's go to you first. What did you take away from that game, the wonderful Gatka Field ending?
Oh my god, why would you open me on that question?
The wonderful Gatka Field.
I hate field endings, and what I don't know. The Gatka Fields is like the worst of them for me, just because once it centers on Gatka, it's the largest field. Or if you want to organize the different ones as separate fields, it's like 3 fields all clustered in one. And so like I couldn't help but try and mostly watch the game to see if the 4-piece would happen. And the minute that circle went to north of Chopsticks, I was like,
the cringe was real.
Yeah, it's just the unfortunate thing about field endings. It's the same thing with urban endings, is that it puts more power on where the circle goes. And so FaZe did a really nice attempt, probably the strongest attempt we can expect out of anyone, to try and find their way from the south edge all the way up, someplace to hold to make their way into the field. Like it was such a hard task for them that they had to go up against. And that's just going to be the case for a lot of different teams in a field ending. If it goes off of you, if you're on the edge, just on the outskirts of the field, and it swings away from you, there's nothing to do because all you have is to try and crawl through the scattered bushes and hope that you don't get spotted by someone on the opposite end who does have a small little hill to hide behind. So, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm being a little pessimistic, a little cynical at this point about it.
You?
But
Little
hey,
bit, little bit,
hey,
little bit.
I've been
No,
getting better.
I want to make sure we didn't even mention the Anime Boys and grabbing the win there. It was one of those things where it's like there's so much going on in the scoring, and it's like we're looking at who gets top 16. Anime Boys was 28th coming into today. There's I don't even think with the win there, realistically they're going to get in. They were down in. Where are they on my list? They're somewhere here. Oh, they're scoring it right now, so it's not even going to be right. Yeah. Yeah, they were 28th. So
they were
it's
28th
just,
in the day, and that's just a fool's errand, really.
I would be amazed if they somehow made that push. But why do they win that game as opposed to the other team, Poro? Is it the position that they were in up, like, staying away from the buildings to the south? Because the circle did move north, so everyone that was down in the building south by Chopsticks in that area, they were in a lot of trouble. So is being north there just huge for a team? Is it just like a huge advantage going in and having a position over the field and being able to play from that angle?
I mean, it looks like it. I mean, they came out with the win, and they came out with 11 kills, and they didn't really have to mess with anything there towards the end. I mean, if it weren't for, which is I guess that's kind of the interesting thing to look at from this one then, is that just the fact that FaZe was pushing from the south. This is a team we've kind of gotten used to seeing make these long transitions around to the north, in these long rotations. So I'm not sure if maybe they just saw something differently, or maybe they lost their vehicles, or something got in the way from them pushing all the way to the north. I don't know, or maybe they just like playing the southern edge better. But had it not been from a pretty sick hold by Jorski from Havu when they had the 3v4 there, I think FaZe might have ended up coming out pretty good in this.
That was a fast fight, by the way. Like,
it really was.
Watch the downs pop out immediately. Mixie gets the first down, so they're feeling pretty good. And then you pop up and just watch everybody drop. Bam, 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 bam. 4 people down immediately. And it's like, what? Yeah. How did this just turn into a 1v1? Jorski able to pull it off. He actually went for reses instead of the unknown FaZe player who was like, he was a little hesitant because there was that player in the yellow building right behind him. From House of Nobles. So it was kind of like this crazy pressure there. House of Nobles, however, I think they are a team that did make the top 16. I would assume so.
They finished 5th, but they had 0 kills. So it's going to be interesting to see how the points work out in their favor. Meanwhile, I think Moonwolf was also they finished low, but they had 4 kills. So I mean, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how these positions play out, because I mean, they're just, I don't know.
It's nerve-wracking is what it is, especially if you're a team like Spet Gaming, and Spet Gaming, they're a team that didn't play today. Or I'm sorry, Exalt Gaming, a team that didn't play today. Spet Gaming unfortunately got kicked out of their spot. Wind and Rain kicked out of their spot as well. They've both been overcome by teams today. Exalt is the team in question, where that was the 3rd spot, the 3rd team that wasn't playing today. Could the teams today overcome their score and push them back down to 17? It's going to be very, very close. So let's hop in right now. If I'm not mistaken, the scores are closed. So let's start from the top. Let's bring it in. Let's not open up anybody. We'll leave them we'll read them top to bottom, and kind of give you guys exactly where everybody ended up. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do.
Scared?
Right. Yeah, he's going to pop it up for us. So we do have, I know we do have Liquid, number 1. Liquid actually with a 400-point victory there. As you can see, almost 400 points ahead of FaZe. Liquid just out of control this season. They will be the split one winners, $3,000 prize pool going to them. FaZe Clan today, huge day. They end up grabbing 2nd place. Just out of control, 3 wins and a 4th place. So they passed Diamond Dogs, who will be your 3rd place team. Now, Diamond Dogs was Penta, in case you are not aware. Havu Gaming, we talked about them before. They were the only team that could have passed Liquid today. They needed 4 wins and 95 kills. That did not happen, obviously, because it's borderline impossible. You need you need 25 kills a game, pretty much.
Really reaching for a storyline there, but
yeah. I'm grabbing anything I can get. But Havu, 4th place overall in split number 1, followed by Quick Math in 5th, Tinderguild in 6th. Tinderguild actually had a really great season. They started off fantastic in the first week. Crimson had a good day yesterday to bump them up to 7th. Team Random making it in. Method switching, a bunch of subs that they've been using. They were able to grab a spot 9th overall in split number 1, followed by Gentside in number 10, Avangar in 11th, Alliance in 12th. They were playing today, so they secured a spot. Vitality, we talked about them. They were able to secure their spot, had a really good second place in game number 3 today to secure that. House of Nobles is one of the teams from today. They started off in 19th. They were able to move up to 14th and secure their spot just over 1,000 points. So congratulations to them. Great People Only as well started the day in 17th, able to boost themselves up to 15th. And the final team is Exalt Gaming, securing their spot. They did not play today, and it looks as though nobody caught them. Can we scroll down a little bit and see how close they were? It should be Moonwolf. Moonwolf right behind, 23 points away. So close yet so far. But look at how far Anime Boys got. Anime Boys was actually under 70 points away from clutching this one out with the big win at the end. So, we didn't think it was realistic that they got there, but, take one of those earlier games and turn it into a win, or change, take some extra top 5s, and they would have been a team to make the top 16. It's unfortunate for Moonwolf. It's unfortunate for Anime Boys. It's unfortunate for Knights. Those 3 teams all playing today so close. But they will not make split number 2 in Showdown. So here is how split number 2 will work. Let's just break this all down. First of all, congratulations to the 16 teams that made it. Job well done. That is the EU side of things. So what will happen now in split number 2 is every single Monday, those 16 teams will be playing right here at twitch.tv/PUBGOnline to compete for $20,000. It is the same lobby, the same 16 teams for 5 weeks. They will play 20 games. It is a best of 20. At the end of that, we will award the prizes. While that's happening, every Tuesday is now contenders. So the other 24 teams that didn't make it, plus an additional 8 teams that are playing right now in the Open Series promotionals, will make the 32-team contender series. They will play against each other and blah, 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 go up and down, and we'll get rankings of them. So at the end, when this split number 2 is over, we will start all over again, in our 16 Showdown teams, plus the 16 teams that we bring up will compete in the split number 1 once again in the same method. So a lot going on, a lot of PUBG action. And that was it for EU. So before I even talk about anything else, comments, concerns from either of you, and then we'll talk about what else is going on later today. Poro. No, Cameron. I lied. Cameron.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Sorry. I took your thunder, Poro.
Hey, go for it.
I'm not saying it just because I only think about FaZe. It's just they constantly surprise me, and they come out and just show me why they're consistently the best team in the world. And even though they didn't grab the 4-piece, they only got 3 wins. They got second place playing 1 game from Korea with really bad ping, and I believe they also had to skip another day. Or am I making that up?
No, they were able to play the full 20 games. I'm thinking they may have been at another LAN. They went to 3 LANs in 6 weeks or something.
Well, yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
so it's it was a busy month and a half for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, looking at AVG, I was talking to them at Starladder, and the reason why after they won Katowice and then suddenly didn't perform to that same level in Kiev, they were saying that they just got really exhausted at the Katowice. FaZe Clan, they continue to put numbers no matter how many times they play. And so even them just getting second place is like that. They're such a good team.
Yeah, absolutely. Porosaurus?
I mean, I think that it's pretty fair to say that after all this time, the top 16 that we end up with probably is a very, very good representative, good indicator of the top 16 teams going on right now.
Yeah.
The only one that fell outside of the top 16 that I'm kind of like, oh, man, I really feel like they probably deserve a spot there was Knights. And I'm not sure what happened with Knights, if maybe it was just a couple of weeks where they just weren't feeling it, or something must be going on there, because that team is way better than they've been showing.
I mean, that's. I mean, you can argue that.
If you look across the leagues, Knights is better than what they've been showing.
Yes, but also look at today. They had 2 good placements and then 2 kind of bad placements, and that's something that's not very, that's actually kind of on brand for Knights. We were saying earlier today, I was saying earlier today that, or I think you guys agreed with me as well, is that Knights, they could they're a team that could easily come out and score an amazing entire day today, but they can also be a team that kind of doesn't so much. And today was a nice blending of the two to finish it out. So I agree that I think they can be a really good team. But what's really holding them back is, it's an inconsistency in performance. So hopefully, during the next season, they can work on that and continue to get better. And they've been getting better over the course of this season as well. Need to remind you, after that one time that they just barely got second instead of first last year, they went on a very bad run afterwards. And so they're already looking a lot better than they did just a couple of months prior.
Yeah. I mean, either way, Showdown is going to be awesome. Contenders is also going to be awesome because there's a lot of teams there that, may not have fallen in the top 16 this time around, but with a few more weeks, months of practice, time together as teams, you could easily see them becoming the next big thing. So I think it's definitely worthwhile to keep your eyes on both leagues going forward.
Yeah, I think the EU Showdown series that we have coming up is actually disgusting. I think it's gross. Liquid, FaZe, Diamond Dogs, which was Penta, Havu, Quick Math, Tinder Guild, Crimson, Team Random, Method, Genside, Avangard, Alliance, Vitality, House of Nobles, Great People Only, and Exalt Gaming. It is a wild lobby that we're going to be running here for EU every Monday. I'm very excited. So that will start next week. However, tonight, we're doing the same thing for NA. We have to figure out who our top 16 for NA is. Can Wildcard overcome Optic and take first place? That is very real and very possible tonight. A lot of exciting things going on for NA. That will be live in 3.5 hours. It's 3:30. Plus, 3.5 hours, 7 p.m. Central Time, right here on twitch.tv/PUBGOnline. So a lot of exciting stuff going on over there. If you're interested in the NA scene, be sure to be here and watch because it's going to be pretty intense. That was it for EU. Cameron, Poro, thank you for joining me on the desk. It was Jorisar and Dudge on the cast today. Thank you to all the mods, the viewers, and of course, all the players, and congratulations to the top 16 for making it into Showdown. And of course, our first, second, and third place teams, Liquid, FaZe, and Diamond Dogs, on their prizes and all of that stuff. That's very exciting. And Sifo and Sap, the production guys that do the thing. They click the buttons and stuff happens. Yeah, they're all right. On that note, you all have an amazing day, and I will see you right here in 3.5 hours for NA.
know my heart is a ghost town.